Condition orange. Condition orange. Situation delta in effect. Enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
We have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal.
More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. Think for yourself. Question authority.
This code has been compromised.
Welcome back, Truth Seeker. It is Wednesday, February 17th, 2021. Sending a happy birthday out to the Mind Hunter in the chat. I just saw him post it's their birthday, so happy birthday to you and anyone else out there whose birthday it might be. And sadly, there's a lot of people who can't tune in tonight because they don't have any power. You know, my home city, Portland, a lot of people are without power. People down in Texas who aren't used to the frigid temperatures without power. And I'm sad to say we got another prediction correct because I've been telling you guys all year to watch out for what they said about the Great Reset and the darkest winter and the sequence of numbers 151, because in Gematria, the Great Reset equals 151, so does Power Outage, and so does Valentine's Day. And at the beginning of the year, I said to watch out for January 15th. That day passed without incident. But the next date with the 151 connection was Valentine's Day, which we had circled. And sadly, that was the day when a lot of people lost their electricity. And if you've been following us for much of last year, we were talking about, again, the dark winter warning by Rick Bright. That was back in the spring of 2020. And then on June 3rd, the Great Reset was announced. And then at the end of August, Public Enemy announced they had a new album coming out, What You Gonna Do When the Grid Goes Down. And what's amazing is from the day that album released, September 25th, it was announced at the end of August. It was announced the day Chadwick Boseman, the Black Panther, died. But from the day the album released, September 25th, to Valentine's Day, when the grid went down for a lot of people who definitely weren't ready. And again, I told you guys, I said, get propane, man. Have propane tanks, propane heaters. If you can afford a generator, be prepared. Preparation, what do they say? An ounce of preparation is worth a pound of cure. And people freezing their ass off right now in Texas know that. And they wish they would have known better before. But anyway, from the day that album came out to Valentine's Day was exactly 142 days. 142 days. And think about the way the majority of the world writes the date for Valentine's. They write it 14/2, like 142. And we're going to talk more about this, but I just want to go through other headlines today because I've already been doing a lot of work on my other channel, and I know a lot of you who tune in already follow me on YouTube and at GematriaEffectNews. So we're going to talk more about the power outage, but I just want to hit some of the other headlines going on today, too. Donald Trump's Atlantic City casino imploded today. Came down just like the towers, but without a plane. And don't forget Donald Trump's remarks on 9/11. He knew something was up that day. But again, just to see what a ritual this is. Today, February 17, 2021, the day they took down his casino that was established in 84, that infamous year. Today is the 48th day of the year, and today also has 60 date numerology. And what makes that so interesting is Donald Trump in Gematria equals 48 when you run the alphabetic order forwards, and when you run it in reverse, Donald Trump equals 60. And I've been saying, is Donald Trump going to be the Republican candidate for the next election? Because the next election will be the 60th presidential election. We'll see if that happens. But anyway, on the 48th day of the year, on a date with 60 numerology, Donald Trump's tower comes down. And the guy who was responsible for the implosion said, this didn't have anything to do with politics. Yeah, maybe it didn't have anything to do with politics, but it had everything to do with Jesuit ritual. And Atlantic City, like Las Vegas, is Jesuit town. And, you know, when you think Jesuits, you think Italians and the Vatican. When you think of mobsters in the casinos, you think of the same thing, don't you? But Atlantic City has that exact same gematria as Society of Jesus, who are the Jesuits. Don't forget, Donald Trump is a Jesuit-educated pawn. Or did I say pond? I mean pawn, like pawn on the chessboard, which is exactly what he is. I know a lot of you can't wrap your mind around that. He's your orange Oompa Loompa hero, but he is a Jesuit pawn, as we exposed every single day from the day he announced he was running for president up until his last day in office, even up till today, the demolition of his tower, because it's nothing new. Every single day, Donald Trump's life is by the numbers. Jesuit pawn who went to Fordham. Anyway, today's also 17/2 like 172, and the Jesuit motto Ad Merum Dei Gloriam has that gematria of 172. And again, his casino was established in 84, Jesuits 84. What's funny, from his June 14th birthday to the demolition of his tower today was his 8th month and 4th day of his age, like 84. So, R.I.P. to Trump's casino. And again, just one more ritual by the numbers. As for Rush Limbaugh kicking the bucket today, I made a small mistake in the video I did on his death. I said that he used to call Kansas City Chiefs games. He actually used to call Kansas City Royals games. But remember, he came out and said he had cancer the day after the Chiefs won the Super Bowl. The Chiefs won the Super Bowl February 2nd, 2020. The next day, Limbaugh came out and made his admission about cancer. And then the day after that, Trump put the medal around his neck. But in light of him calling games for the Royals, remember, the Kansas City Royals won the 111th World Series over the New York Mets on November 1st, 11/1, and Matt Harvey got pulled on his 111th pitch, and we called New York to be in that World Series from spring training because New York's 111. But anyway, the day that the Mets won, or not the Mets, the day that the Royals beat the Mets in the World Series, November 1st, I think that was 2015 if I remember correctly, from that day to the day the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, February 2nd, 2020, that was exactly 222 weeks later, 222. And in the Super Bowl, Andy Reid got his 222nd career win, 222, and he got it on February 2nd, 2-2, and the Chiefs got their second Super Bowl win, and the Niners got their second Super Bowl loss. And when you write out the words February 2nd, it equals 222. And it was Super Bowl 54 that the Chiefs won, and the word baseball equals 54, like there's 54 outs in a complete game. Jesuit order is also 54. They control the world of government, entertainment, sports, media. They control the show. But anyway, the Kansas City Royals World Series and the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl were perfectly synced together, and we documented that before the game was played. That was part of the reason we had the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl that year. So the day after that, Rush Limbaugh comes out and says, you know, he had cancer, and now he's dead on 17/2, and Kansas City Chiefs equals 172. And they were just in the Super Bowl again, just this time they lost, and now Rush Limbaugh lost his battle with cancer. And who did the Chiefs lose to? They lost to the Buccaneers. And Limbaugh is dead on his 37th day of his age. Limbaugh equals 37. Talk radio equals 37. Buccaneers equals 37. Again, the Buccaneers only won one Super Bowl before. They won number 37. And this Super Bowl is perfectly synced with WrestleMania 37, which begins in April, in the same stadium the Super Bowl was just played in. There's a whole lot more to this Rush Limbaugh death ritual, but realize the name Rush equals 21 like Jesuit, and he's dead at the start of 2021. And there's really a lot more we could say about it, but it's hard for me to keep my mouth clean when I talk about Rush Limbaugh, and since TFR is a clean radio broadcast, I'm just going to let it go. But for all the dummies who came around and was like, your video's wrong because he worked for the Royals and not the Chiefs. Again, you guys are wrong because you don't follow my work. You don't know what you're talking about. It doesn't matter which one he worked for. It's all in the same Jesuit cabal. It's all part of the same rigged structure. And all Rush Limbaugh ever was part of the divisive left and right divide and conquer Jesuit tactics. You know, he was the fat, sloppy Jesuit pawn, even more fat than the orange Oompa Loompa that put a medal around his neck which just couldn't be any more ridiculous. How do you put a presidential medal of freedom around a fat goon's neck? I mean, like I said, you guys, I got to move on, but if you want to know more about it, watch the video I put out earlier. And with regards to these 17/2 172 Jesuit rituals today, in the book I put out last year, Number Games 9/11 to Coronavirus, I talked about how Jeff Bezos, last year on July 2nd, set the wealth record at the time, becoming worth $172 billion, 172 days after his birthday. Now today on 17/2, he's passed Elon Musk again in net wealth. He's now the richest man in the world again. And that's funny because Elon Musk just became the richest man in the world on January 7th of this year, 172 days from his own birthday. And that was also the day that Nikola Tesla died in history. Nikola Tesla died January 7th, 43. 78 years later, Elon Musk becomes the richest man in the world on the 78-year anniversary of his death because his Tesla stock shot up that day. And it being the 78-year anniversary matters because Tesla equals 78. And when you run the alphabetic order in reverse, Jesuit equals 78 as well. And they're saying Jeff Bezos climbed up to $191 billion today, which is what they said Musk was worth on January 7th, but now his net wealth fell down today because he's electric cars, and today the headlines are about, his electric cars cost a ton to charge now that there's this power energy grid crisis. But anyway, it's funny that they say $191 billion because Society of Jesus is 191, which is the official name of the Jesuits, and the word billionaire is also 191. Again, just documenting this all year, the back and forth with Bezos and Musk and how it's so easy to see that they're Jesuit pawns. And come on, you guys, 3 rituals back and forth between these two, all defined by the number 172, which again corresponds with the Jesuit motto Ad Merum Dei Gloriam. And you don't think these guys are puppets and all these numbers are made up and the stock market and all that is manipulated by the code? You got to be brain dead, truly. You got to have no concept of math or probability, which sadly it seems is true of most Americans. So also in the headlines today on 17/2, you have the reported death of the mother of the rapper Young Jeezy. So I guess she wasn't a sole survivor, but people will only get that joke if they know this guy's hit songs. But anyway, what's weird about this is he's on Def Jam Records just like Public Enemy. And Public Enemy equals 172, just like their new album name, What You Gonna Do When the Grid Goes Down, equals 172. And in light of Public Enemy's album coming out 142 days before the grid went down for a lot of people on 14/2, Young Jeezy's in the news for his dead mom 142 days after his birthday. So to me, that really stands out in light of them all being through Def Jam Records. And again, the entire world of hip-hop is controlled by the Jesuit order because the Jesuits control everything. They control the world of entertainment, media, government, period. And anyone who wants to dispute that, happy to have you call in tonight and debate. I promise you, it's not going to look pretty for you. Not at all, because I got facts up on top of facts up on top of facts. And also, today had 60-date numerology, just like Donald Trump's 60, his tower went down today. Young Jeezy's birth name is J. Wayne Jenkins, which equals 60. And his rap name, Young Jeezy, equals 54 and 153 like Jesuit order. And again, on 17/2, where Ad Merum Dei Gloriam, the Jesuit motto, equals 172 and corresponds. Again, it's not hard to see what's going on here. Another singer, entertainer in the industry. Yesterday, it was revealed that the uncle of Trey Songz died. And from his November 28th birthday to the day he revealed the news, February 16th, that was 80 days after his birthday. That's interesting because the word uncle equals 80, and his birth name, Tremaine Neverson, equals 80 as well. And if you run the alphabetic order forwards, uncle equals 55, in reverse it's 80, just like Satan forwards is 55, in reverse it's 80. And think about Bob Dylan. again with Ed Bradley on 60 Minutes, talking about how he sold his soul to the chief commander of this world, which caused Ed Bradley to laugh and say, "Who's that?" Like he didn't know because he sold his soul as well to be on 60 Minutes. And he died shortly after that, Ed Bradley. Bob Dylan's still breathing. He's about to turn 80, though, Bob Dylan. And I've documented the pattern with Nobel Peace Prize winners and dying at age 80. Bob Dylan's one of those, too. So we'll see if he makes it past 80. But the thing about 55 and 80 connected to Satan and selling your soul to be famous in the industry, remember, in Super Bowl 55, which just passed, Tom Brady came in with 80 career postseason touchdowns, and he stayed on 80 career losses in the game. Satan, 55-80. That word Baphomet's got that 82, the satanic symbol. But 80 days after his birthday, the uncle's dead. And, again, these things just can't all be a coincidence. I actually went to the grocery store yesterday, a day earlier. I normally go on Wednesday, but I went yesterday. And while I was waiting for the checkout, I took this picture. You can see it on the screen. If you're listening on TFR Live, you can't see it right now, but we are streaming on YouTube at Gematria Effect Sports because GematriaEffectNews is suspended and probably going to be deleted. It'll probably be the 20th time my channel gets deleted. YouTube's gotten real ooey ever since the Super Bowl landed. They put 2 strikes on me after the Super Bowl. Again, because we're pounding them where it hurts in their pocketbook. But anyway, I saw in the supermarket on the National Examiner tabloid magazine, they had this story up, and I said, uh-oh, doesn't look good for Prince Philip, because the National Examiner published on February 15th, it says, "The Queen and Prince Philip's final goodbye. Last time royal couple will see each other." And then it says married 73 years, and like I said before this year began, watch out for 73 in death. By the way, the name Limbaugh also equals 73. 73 is the 21st prime number, so 73 in 2021 plus sacrifice equals 73. Ritual sacrifice equals 73 as well. Again, alphabetic order, rituals or sacrifice is 73. With the alphabetic order and rules of numerology, ritual sacrifice is 73. Talked about this pattern a million times over the years. But right on the cover, married 73 years. And then down below, it shows their wedding photo from 1947. So one day after this was published, one day, you get the news of Prince Philip being hospitalized. The news actually came out today, February 17th, that he was hospitalized. But if you read the story, he was hospitalized yesterday, which was February 16th, which was the 47th day of the year, and they were married in 47. So it's like, well, wait a minute. How did the tabloid magazine, and I guess this is what tabloid magazines do, right? They put out these things, this speculation, sometimes just stuff that's just way out there and far-fetched. But the tabloid magazine is like dead on the day before this happens, you know what I mean? And again, really, the mainstream news is no more credible than the tabloids. It's all the same. But the thing about Prince Philip, being on his deathbed, as it sounds, is he's remembered for in 1988. Actually, before I get to this piece about 1988, I should note that from Queen Elizabeth's birthday on April 21st, remember Prince died on that day in 2016, but from Queen Elizabeth's April 21st birthday to his hospitalization February 16th was exactly 43 weeks after her birthday, and both Philip and Elizabeth are 43. So is pandemic, and that's the part that matters, because in 1988, he said that when he dies, he hopes he comes back as a virus that can wipe out the population because the world's overpopulated. So that's not a conspiracy theory. I mean, that's a well-known thing that he said, and there's been a lot of articles written about how it was just a gaffe, and he was actually just joking. But no, we know these world elite creeps. I don't even know if we should use that word elite. These famous, overpopularized scum. We know how they're so obsessed with depopulation and controlling the Earth's population. But isn't it strange that he said that? And here we are in the midst of this supposed pandemic. And I'm just going to throw this out there one more time. I got a phone call in the past week from somebody from Michigan who worked at a hospital and who said all these people are coming in with COVID and they're putting all these people on respirators, but in their medical opinion, they don't have COVID. What they have is malaria. And remember, Michigan is where the genetically modified mosquitoes were unleashed, as well as Florida. And there was that story from this past, I can't remember if it was summer or late fall, but they asked people to stay indoors in Michigan because of the mosquito outbreak. And then also, remember what the big drug was that Donald Trump was touting, hydrochloroquine? And look up the history of hydrochloroquine. It was credited to the same Jesuit doctor who was once, I think he went to Georgetown. Where did he go? Holy Cross, Georgetown, and St. Louis University, all Jesuit schools. But he was also the guy who gave us chemotherapy treatment. That also comes from the Jesuits. You start to realize how much influence the Jesuits have in all things. But he's also the inventor of hydrochloroquine. But the purpose of that drug is actually to treat malaria. And then you had Bill Gates last year, snickering about unleashing the genetically modified mosquitoes, essentially a bunch of little vaccinators. And I wonder if this could be the thing this summer. What if everybody starts getting malaria, I'm surprised this is going on this time of year when cold, because this isn't normally mosquito season, but the summer sure is. And we do know they're unleashing these genetically modified mosquitoes all of a sudden in the midst of all this. There's just so many crazy things happening at once. But Prince Philip, if he kicks the bucket, Don't forget in their Event 201 coronavirus outbreak simulation, 65 million people die. We're nowhere near that in terms of the worldwide numbers they're contriving right now, but that's not to say that they couldn't kick this into, a new gear and actually start getting rid of people. Right now they're conditioning us to the thought of, there's this deadly pandemic out there, people are dying, but most of us don't really know anyone who died. Again, I literally live in a retirement community where almost everyone around me is 80 years old, and no one in the last years died in this community. And keep in mind, I live in Yakima, Washington, which is supposedly the hardest hit community in the state of Washington from coronavirus. We've made the national news a few times in the last year, even though we're a smaller place. We're supposedly one of the worst communities for coronavirus, but nobody knows anybody who died. I mean, I'm just saying. So, and also just one more thing I got to bring up. Well, actually, we're going to come back to the freezing weather and the power outages. But I want you guys to look this up. Scope, like a telescope, but just Scope X. Scope X. It stands for Stratospheric Controlled Perturbation Experiment. And it has to do with, cloud seeding and blocking out the sunlight to curb global warming. If you read the articles written about this, it says the U.S. government has acknowledged and experimented with this since 1965. 1965, which happens to be 56 years before 2021. And remember, Agenda 21... Jesuit equals 21, Society of Jesus equals 56, climate change 56, coronavirus 56. Again, coronavirus has curbed the world's consumption and consumerism and travel, and global emissions, how all these things come together. But Agenda 21 from the 90s, about by the year 2021, making radical changes to curb carbon emissions. I just want you to see how all of this comes together. 56 years after they begin this experimentation in 2021. Again, it just goes to show it's all by design, and that's why they called for the Great Reset this year in the darkest winter, because what they're doing right now is they're planting seeds in the minds of the masses that, Mother Nature's out of control, even though what's going on right now is not the work of Mother Nature. It is the work of man and mad science and maybe even mad witchcraft, because I got to acknowledge that. They say the natives knew how to do their spiritual rain dances to bring the rain when they needed it for their crops. Maybe these mad scientists or these mad witch doctors or whatever they are, maybe they also know how to do, the evil snow dance to drop the temperature 50 degrees in Houston type of thing. But again, I really do think there's a large element to technology. All we got to do is look up in the sky, research HAARP, research all the military patents on weather weapons. But anyway, the reason that I said to circle Valentine's Day weeks in advance after January 15th passed without incident is, again, because it had that 151 connection. And in Gematria, did I take it off the screen here? I want to show you guys the visual, but maybe I took... Oh, there it is. Again, in Gematria, the Great Reset, Valentine's Day, and power outage all equal 151, which is the 36th prime number. And the World Economic Forum called for this on June 3rd, a date written 3-6 in that part of the world. 151, the 36th prime, 3-6, the Great Reset, in correspondence with the darkest winter coming. You know, what more could that mean besides a power outage, especially after all the clues they gave us? And the other reason that I identified Valentine's Day is because the man who called for this, Klaus Schwab, the Jesuit who runs the World Economic Forum, it was exactly 46 weeks after his birthday, or 322 days, like the number of skull and bones. And the phrase ordo ab chao, the Latin for order out of chaos, equals 46. It also equals 82, like it was 46 weeks after his 82nd birthday. And the city that got hit the hardest was Houston, Texas, which equals 46. So I didn't predict that it was going to be Houston, Texas, and I'm even amazed myself that they could drop the temperature to single digits in Houston. I didn't think that was possible. But again, it just goes to show how advanced what they're doing is, and I guarantee you, even though they're putting out headlines that only 10 people have died, I guarantee you so many homeless people have died in the Houston area, just people that were not prepared for that kind of a frigid night. And this is all about population control and controlling humanity in our minds and steering us down the course of agenda, because there's going to be some real radical changes that they implement. And realize, like today, the Washington Post on 17/2 is calling for Joe Biden to invest big time in the power grid on 17/2, right? After what you're going to do when the grid goes down, which equals 172, like Public Enemy 172, like Ad Merum Dei Gloriam. Anyway, True Seeker, that's the commercial break. Quick breaks on Wednesday nights. We'll be right back. Sit tight.
Extendivite is more than just a heart tonic. Do you have any of these symptoms? Night cramps in the hands and feet. Your arms and legs often go to sleep. On short walks, do your legs get aches and pains? Is your memory worse than it used to be? Ankles that swell late in the day? Has your blood pressure increased lately? If you answered yes to even one of these questions, you may have early warning signs of arterial blockages. Your body is saying that it is time to take Extendivite. These are not the normal signs of aging. They are the warning signs that accompany blocked arteries. Get your Extendivite today. Extendivite is available in capsule or liquid form for just $69.95 for a 2-month supply. To get started, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822, or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendivite.
Poor water quality is a major health issue, and it's only getting worse. Municipalities can't keep up. Standards have dropped, and pollutants are increasing. Where does it all end? It ends by keeping the pollutants outside of your home with HydroCare's advanced systems available at Wave Home Solutions. No less than the best purification materials and processes have been developed by HydroCare to provide you with healthy, clean water for drinking, cooking, and showering. HydroCare far surpasses the competition in removing chlorine, odors, iron, lead, chemicals, limescale, and much more. Don't settle for less when it comes to your water. We'll take care of the toughest water problems for you, whether it's from a city or well source. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, call 888-997-WAVE. That's 888-997-WAVE. Or go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
Hi, I'm Sergeant Jim Ram, retired. In early 2012, I was facing a laundry list of chronic health conditions that my physician was telling me were incurable. I knew there had to be a better way, and I learned how I could reverse every one of my ailments with science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. In just a few months, I was able to reverse high blood pressure, gastric reflux, sleep apnea, arthritis, degenerative disc disease, heart arrhythmia, AFib, and many more. And I've lost over 70 pounds and kept it off. Now I'm hosting a radio program that's dedicated to helping my listeners do the same. If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, if you're sick of being used as an ATM by your doctor, then you'll want to tune into the Your DIY Health radio program here on Truth Frequency Radio every Thursday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern and 6 to 8 a.m. Pacific.
You're listening to the Truth Frequency Radio Network.
No hate, no hype, no fear.
All right, we're back, True Seeker. We're about to go out to Rambo, and then we're going to be taking your calls the rest of the night. I just want to address some questions from the chat. People are always curious about the commercials. Again, this stream is... Once upon a time, there wasn't a stream when I did this. I was just on Truth Frequency Radio, which I am broadcasting on Truth Frequency Radio, but Chris Geo, who runs the network, he asked us, the host, to start getting our faces out on YouTube to try to bring in more people to the radio network, and I don't think many of us did it, but I was happy to. But again, there's no way around the commercials. And for those of you guys asking, like, are you making a lot of money from that? No, I'm not making a lot of money from the ads, you guys. I literally, I think on average, I get about $7.50 a month from doing the TFR broadcast. And that's from like the 2 people that are subscribed, that have a small subscription. And I don't care. I mean, I don't do the radio show for money. But for all of you guys like who are also trolling and saying Zach just does all this for the money, I mean, you guys are just clueless liars. I mean, you guys, again, for people who think I'm here for money, you are speaking out of ignorance. I lost a very lucrative business for doing this, and for the first 5 years that I did this, I didn't make a single penny from any of this work. I didn't have anything monetized. I didn't have anything to sell. I didn't have any ads on any channel. I made no money, and that was fine because I wasn't here for money. I was here to wake up people to the agendas and how bad things were going to get if we didn't wake up. And like I was saying way back then, I was saying we got to wake up by 2020 because if we don't, it's going to be real ugly. The censorship will be through the roof. The next 9/11 will be upon us. And you know what? Right and right. And my whole motivation to do all this was to not live in the world we're now living in. But hey, here we are. And what are we doing about it? You know, I keep proposing ideas. You know, I set up a platform that cost me $1,000 a month, and the bill's going up because there's so much stuff posted on there. We need even more money for the data storage. But again, I set up that platform for people to organize and network, and some people are starting to do it. But I mean, what I see from humanity is most people don't really want to help out. A lot of people want to criticize and, you know, call people shills and falsely accuse about things they don't know about. You guys, the reality is, had I just been a selfish person and kept this knowledge to myself, I think I could just be murdering the sports books, still have my medical marijuana business, and just be a wealthy, you know, person that none of you even ever heard of, you know, and none of you would even know about this knowledge. But, you know, for putting it out there and trying to help out humanity, I realize there's a lot of people who do appreciate and support, but I mean, just, it seems that the majority of people are just haters and ungrateful of everything and just false accusers and just looking for a reason to say something nasty. And again, to put down Truth Frequency Radio, do you listen to the advertisements? It's not like they're most places ads. It's not like they're advertising toxic crap. You know, most of it's just promoting the own shows. And are you really going to hate on Truth Frequency Radio? Even though I'm not happy with half the hosts on here because I think that their head's still stuck up their own rear end. You know, I mean, Truth Frequency Radio is mostly a censorship-free platform that allows people to say what they think and feel, even if those people are ignorant. But there's not a lot of things like that are left. So in reality, you know, people should support Truth Frequency Radio. And, you know, part of the way it supports itself is by having advertisers like Extendovite, which it seems like out of all the advertisements, that's the one that is the most effective because I always see you guys every time I look at the chat writing Extendovite. So they're doing something right with getting the jingle to stick in your head. But yeah, I mean, doing TFR is not a money-making enterprise. It's 3 hours out of my week every single week on Wednesday night, but I'm happy to do it because for the most part I enjoy the program most nights, and it's nice hearing your voices, but it just gets annoying just always reading people just with always the same false accusations. And again, you know, if you're a troll, you guys, I get, you know what? They're trying to depopulate, and if you're a troll, I mean, why not just help out with the cause? Because you're not really doing anything else, you know? Why not just get it over with, trolls? You guys have no business breathing as far as I'm concerned. You bring nothing. You bring nothing to the world. You're just loser rejects. I mean, seriously, think about that. You guys are loser rejects. You have no purpose, zero, other than to aid the cabal in harassing the people who are speaking against them. So, you know, do us all a favor and get on with the show. And that said, let's go out to Rambo, who's a lot more pleasant and graceful than I am. But here he is, the man of the hour. What's up, Rambo?
Thank you again, Zach.
Of course.
Yeah, last week I made that prediction because I saw that a House of Cards had the president dying within less than a month of inauguration. But that wasn't my first choice. My first choice for Biden's death actually is has to do with his zodiac being a Scorpio. It's much more detailed. Lady Gaga was at the inauguration for a reason. That's in my bigger decode, my number one choice. I had multiple choices for when he might go. I just had to throw it out there just in case when I saw how quickly.
Well, hey, you know, Rambo, I'm glad you brought that up because even though he didn't die on that day, it's still what's still really interesting to think about is he's number 46 and Joe Biden equals 152, and the year that he becomes number 46, President's Day falls on the 46th day of the year on 15/2. I mean, to me, that just shows how scripted it all is. That shows me that every presidency must have been perfectly scripted, like we've been saying, so that they could line up number 46 in this year where the election falls, or the President's Day falls on the 46th day of the year.
Yeah, I saw that in your video. That was a great observation, how it lined up precisely. But, yeah, I also had I guess this is organic. I guess I've moved further up, and on on February 15th, it was just after midnight, I hadn't heard it before, but there was a pack. I don't know if there are wolves up here. I don't think there are wolves up here. Maybe they're coyotes, but there was a pack howling all night as soon as they hit the 15th, which is associated with wolves, the Lupercalia from lupus in Latin. I thought that was like I've never heard anything like that. They were going all night from a distance. This is howling. A pack was howling, and I've never heard that before.
That is very interesting. The only other thing I could suggest that it was, if it wasn't wolves, is it's possible it was a pack of coyotes, because I don't know if you ever heard that before, but when they kill something and they howl, it's amazing, because how they just fill up the air. It's like such a magnificent, loud sound, but it could be wolves all the same, too. But, yeah, if you've never experienced that for people out there, when a pack of animals are howling, it's amazing how big the sound gets. So, yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, but the funny thing was it happened, I've never heard it before, and it happened on... Right at midnight, right after midnight, when it was the 15th, which is Lupercalia, that's when it started. And I haven't heard since. It was amazing. I thought that was some weird part of the organic matrix.
Sure,
but
indeed. Yeah, that is interesting. So, yeah. Huh.
I have a more in-depth theory as to when Joe will go. It has to do with his zodiac. Gaga's involved. There's a reason she was picked. And also, it's noteworthy, it has to do with his zodiac, Scorpio. It's no coincidence that Frank Underwood is also a Scorpio. So, yeah, that's for later. There'll be, I've got time before that. And also, I didn't really get back to any, I always look forward to the comments after I do shows. I didn't get to any comments, so I apologize to people who commented and contacted me. I didn't get back to them. I will get back to them. I always look forward to that. So... my decode today, which I just put up my post on GematriaEffectNews, is titled Storms and Power Outages, Sumerian Enlil, the original archetype of the chief deity of Rome. So, so far we've been seeing unprecedented weather phenomena going on. I mean, that's the big news. I mean, everybody knows about that. And they're blaming massive power outages on this weather anomaly, these storms. So what I want to address is who or what those in power political power, economic power, who they venerate in some way, whether literally or symbolically, which I've touched on this before. So I'm going to repeat a lot of information which some people might have heard before, but I'm going to add to it, but it's especially relevant considering what's happening. But I think we realize now that Rome, and it's pretty obvious, they don't hide their symbols. Rome is still in power. Rome just morphed into, other titles, like the Vatican, United States. You see the Roman symbol, the fascia, the fascists. They're above the speaker's chair in the chamber of the House of Representatives. They're not hiding it, But Rome, the United States is the new Rome, but Rome itself was the new Babylon. And the central deity in Babylon, Greece, and Rome is a weather god, a thunder god, a storm god. So what is happening now in Texas and other parts of the country are hallmarks of that deity. The God of gods, the chief deity to ancient Greece, was the storm god Zeus. The Latin word for God, Deus, is derived from Zeus. So Zeus is God, is the word for God. Zeus, Deus. The Romans continued the veneration of Zeus in the form of Jupiter. Jupiter, the planet, is in a state of perpetual storms of unfathomable magnitude to us on Earth. And Gematria shows the correlation. If you match thunder with Jupiter, Jupiter is the thunder god, it's a super match across three values, 90, 36, and 99, Jupiter and thunder. The gods Zeus and Jupiter have as one of their main symbols the lightning bolt. Washington, D.C. has the moniker Rome on the Potomac and features a replica of the Temple of Zeus that was once in Olympia, Greece. Now you just have the remains, but the Temple of Zeus once stood in Olympia, Greece. The Lincoln Memorial is a replica of the Temple to Zeus. And the Lincoln Memorial depicts Abraham Lincoln as Zeus. And I've shown some images in my posts. It's undeniable. The pillars, the throne, he's seated. Abraham Lincoln is Zeus. So this is more and more evidence of who's still being venerated today in the United States. If Rome is still in control, then the Roman deities are still being honored. The other most salient symbol of Zeus/Jupiter is the eagle. So no coincidence that the eagle is the symbol of Rome. It was the symbol of the Nazi Party, and it's the symbol of the United States. Jupiter is venerated by the Jesuit order/Catholic Church in the form of Saint Peter. The name Peter is an abbreviation of Jupiter, Jew-Peter. Evidence of this, Peter, Jupiter, Catholic/Jesuit correlation is the fact that the 1st century AD statue of the god Jupiter from ancient Rome was moved out of Italy to a city named after Peter, which is St. Petersburg, Russia. And that is the Hermitage Museum in St. Petersburg, Russia, where they moved the statue of Jupiter over to. Now, why would they do that? Why would they go from Italy all the way to Russia? It's It's to honor Jupiter. It's a statue of Jupiter, an authentic statue of Jupiter from the 1st century. Of all the places in the world, it went to St. Petersburg because it's named after St. Peter, which is telling you who St. Peter is. He's Jupiter. Also, you notice at the feed, I've shown the image, or you can look it up if you don't have access right now. At Jupiter's feet is the very important image, which is the eagle. The eagle is the most salient symbol of the god Jupiter. I show an example of Zeus/Jupiter symbolism in popular culture. I've talked about this before, but the lightning bolt symbol of Zeus Jupiter is popularly seen in the logo of Gatorade. The exoteric explanation as to why Gatorade uses the lightning bolt is that Gatorade replenishes electrolytes, which are essential minerals in the body that are expended during exercise and work. Electrolyte and the bolt are related. Think of how electric lights have been turned off with the storm being blamed. But that's the exoteric explanation of why they use that.
Rambo.
But if you look at Gematria, Gematria...
Rambo, I got to interject again. In light of Houston being the hardest hit city with the weather phenomenon, again, at the same time that this is happening, the Houston football star J.J. Watt is announcing that he's leaving Houston. And Deshaun Watson also might be leaving. And again, you can just picture those guys on the sidelines drinking their Gatorade. So I just had to chime in with that real quick. Go ahead, sorry.
That's a good one. I never thought of that. The Watt, that's really good. I did not think of Watt in the electric terms. That's brilliant. You know. But yeah, these are the games they play. So when you look at in Gematria, Gatorade and Catholic, they match in all 4 base ciphers. And that alone is not necessarily, you could say, oh, that's a coincidence. But if you look at the Gematria of Jupiter, which is 99, then look at the date on which Gatorade was first released to the public. It was in 1965 on September 9th, the date written 99. That is direct homage to Jupiter. Now you know what the lightning bolt is. 99 Gematria, it's released on September 9th, 99. All that is not a coincidence.
And J.J. Watt, I just got to chime in again. J.J. Watt, that's his jersey number, 99.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah, those are great observations. Brilliant. All this can't be coincidence. Come on. So astrology is crucial to understanding how Jupiter is being venerated today, as it was by ancient elite. The ancient elite who venerated Jupiter, that veneration, that belief system has continued until today. The planet Jupiter rules the zodiac signs of Pisces and Sagittarius. So these 2 signs will emerge. Pisces and Sagittarius, they represent Jupiter. The planet Jupiter rules those 2 signs. And for popular culture, I'll give an example of Jay-Z. Everybody knows who Jay-Z is. Jay-Z is a Sagittarius. He was born December 4th. He is a Sagittarius. The name Jay-Z implies the initials Jay-Z, Jupiter Zeus. And we're talking about 99 being the number of Jupiter. One of his most famous hits is 99 Problems, that's further homage to Jupiter, which has Gematria 99. There's more on the Zodiac and Jay-Z. It goes more nitty-gritty. I could mention that another time. But yeah, he has a lot of, he's another Jovian poster child, like I mentioned, Joe Burrow. Not to get into that again, but Jay-Z, very vivid, salient Jovian symbol. The 99 Problems, that's about Jupiter. So who's Jupiter? Who's Zeus, the original archetype? these are so Jupiter and Zeus are analogs. They're just analogs of a more ancient archetype. It didn't start with Rome and it didn't start with Greece. They're just putting new names on something much more ancient. Rome is the new Babylon. So Rome inherited its chief deity, Babylon's chief deity. Babylon inherited its deities from an even more ancient Akkadian cultures who inherited their deities from ancient Sumer. Sumer is as far back as it goes, and thus the Sumerian gods are the archetypes on which the Babylonian and Roman deities are based. The original storm god, who is associated with the planet Jupiter, is the Sumerian Enlil. Enlil was depicted with a muscular humanoid body and the head and wings of an eagle. And I show a depiction of that. Most people have probably seen this image. If they're not familiar with this, just look it up. It's from ancient Babylon. It's a creature with an eagle's head, but a muscular human body and huge wings. This is where the Zeus/Jupiter eagle symbolism stems from. And by extension, United States. This is, the exoteric explanation. Eagle is native to North America, and it's a powerful symbol. It's a majestic symbol. That's the exoteric. Here we're talking about the esoteric. We look deeper. No, this goes back to Babylon. It goes back further than Babylon. It goes back to Sumer, the eagle. The eagle is Enlil. The Torah and other Abrahamic religions texts were written in Babylon. So that's where the Old Testament originates. Babylon. It was written in Babylon. The story of the Great Flood is a retelling of the ancient Sumerian account of the storm god Enlil's attempt to destroy the entire world and the entire human race. Now, in the original Sumerian account, Enlil tried a famine. He tried to starve the human race to death. That didn't work. He sent a plague, and we're dealing with a plague now. And that didn't work. Human race is resilient. And so his last resort was the cataclysmic flood. It's funny how we're dealing with these similar things on a large level. Plagues, fake plague, but still similar. And storms. Well, this is all from ancient Sumerian account. And Gematria reveals the relationship between Enlil and flood. And it's a super match. Again, Enlil is the one in the original text who sent the flood to destroy the world. That is where the Babylonians got that epic. The Old Testament was written in Babylon, and that is where you get the story of Noah's Ark and the Great Flood. That story originated in Sumer. They just changed the name. I think in ancient Sumer, Noah was Itnopishtim, also known as Babylon, called him Zi-Usudra, or Atrahasis. These are all original names which was changed to Noah. It didn't start with the Torah. This was started in Sumer. So Enlil, he's the one who sent the storm. That's the God of the Old Testament, is Enlil. He sent the Great Flood. Enlil and flood are a super match. And anyone who follows your work knows how 52 is the key flood number, the key flood code in Gematria. Enlil is 52 and 25. Flood, 52 and 25. They're also both 83. It's a super match. So Abraham, who is credited with authoring the Torah, was said to have been from Ur, which was part of Babylon. So Abraham, there's a belief that Abraham must have belonged to one of the 12 tribes. It was the tribe of Benjamin and the tribe of Judah that were exiled in Babylon, were held captive in Babylon. But Abraham was not of any tribe. He was not of the tribe of Benjamin or Judah. Some members of the tribe of Levi are said to have been held captive in Babylon. Abraham is not from any of those tribes. Abraham is Babylonian. That's a misconception a lot of people have, that Abraham was originally a member of one of the 12 tribes. He was a descendant. No, he wasn't. Abraham was Babylonian. That's what started the Abrahamic religions. So think of the name Abraham Lincoln, who is memorialized imitating a seated Zeus. Another image that originates with Sumer's Enlil, the seated deity, who's the storm god. That started with Enlil as well, and I show an example of it. Very old, you can see it on Wikipedia, statuette of Enlil sitting on a throne. And this statuette dates back to around 1800 BC. This is very old. But if you want to know where that symbol, that archetypal symbol of the deity sitting in the throne, which is attributed to Zeus and Jupiter and St. Peter, the Vatican, it started with Enlil. And there's a picture. You can go to, I show a link to Wikipedia, but we can understand why the United States government's Space Weather Prediction Center chose the name that it did for its solar storm prediction model. That's United States government's Space Weather Prediction Center. Their solar storm prediction model is called WSA Enlil. So yeah, they're just putting it out there. It predicts storms, solar storms. To further cement Enlil's association with Jupiter, consider this ancient relief, which I've shown a picture of on my post. It's of Enlil, but Enlil has strapped to his shoulder a bow, and on his back is a quiver of arrows. And Enlil is killing the sun. He's putting a dagger into the sun. The Sumerians depicted the sun as feminine, so he's killing a female figure. Now, the bow and arrows are symbols of Sagittarius. And in astrology,
Rambo, pause right there real quick because we've got the quick commercial break. Sit tight, everybody. This is brilliant. We're going to be right back. Short break.
An ever-growing problem in today's modern media. From the mainstream to YouTube and Google, the information you're looking for is buried by official narratives and propaganda. This is why TFR is 100% uncensored, unregulated, and listener-supported. The shows on TFR are not micromanaged by the station, and our hosts are free to speak their minds however they please. As such, the views and opinions expressed on our station are of those who make them. If you happen to hear anything offensive on TFR, please send us an email to toughtitty@tfrlive.com, and we'll be happy to tell you that we really don't give a damn. We stand for freedom of speech and non-censorship. If you also stand for free speech, you can go to tfrlive.com/sign-up and sign up for a TFR supporter pass and help us in our mission to keep the airwaves uncensored and unregulated. TFR Live, your uncensored and unregulated protection from deception.
Promoting a plan for recovery, I'm Rich Dennison, Fox News. President Biden says he believes most Americans support his proposed coronavirus relief legislation.
President Biden says a COVID relief package isn't just about the dollars.
It's about, in order to do everything from open schools as we should, to make sure that we're generating income for people who are in real trouble.
The president met with several labor union leaders in the Oval Office as he continues building support for a $1.9 trillion recovery measure. The proposal within President Biden's plan would also increase over time the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour, a provision that has received pushback from some Democrats.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. Millions of Americans remain without power as a strong winter storm continues impacting the country.
Record low temperatures expected again tonight, below zero along the Texas Panhandle amid snow and ice, and the race for crews to restore power to some 3 million people.
6,000 megawatts have been added to the Texas grid. That equals about power for about 1.2 million households.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott, over 100 million Americans are under winter weather warnings that stretch from the deep south to New England.
Fox's Jeff Manasso, this latest winter storm blamed for at least 30 deaths across the country. Former President Trump is speaking out about the death of conservative radio's Rush Limbaugh, telling Fox News today the 70-year-old's interests weren't limited to politics.
He loved any sport. It didn't matter, any sport. He could talk about any sport. Right? Didn't get enough credit for that. Totally brilliant. And he was a conversationalist, and he was unique.
Limbaugh died after a battle with lung cancer. Stocks ending the day mixed, with the Dow up 90, the S&P falling a point, and the Nasdaq down 82. America is listening to Fox News.
You must unite what has been set asunder.
We are TFR, Truth Frequency Radio.
Condition orange. Condition orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
We have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal. More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. Think for yourself. Question authority.
This code has been compromised.
All right, we're back, True Seeker. We got Rambo with us. He is finishing up his brilliant decode, and as soon as he's done, we'll go on to the callers. I didn't realize that I had the wrong call-in number on the screen, so it is first come, first serve. It's a call-in board. That 213 number is correct. I advise you call in soon if you want to get on tonight, because the line is already filling up. And with that said, Rambo, you got the floor back. Thank you again, friend.
Welcome. Yes, so as I said, Enlil is the original archetype of the Roman Jupiter. Jupiter is a planet. The planet Jupiter rules the zodiac signs of Pisces and Sagittarius. Sagittarius, the symbol of Sagittarius is the bow and arrow, the hunter, the bow and arrow. Here's an ancient Sumerian relief of Enlil as Sagittarius. He has a bow on his shoulder and a quiver of arrows on his back, and he's stabbing a female deity that represents the sun. The reason Sagittarius is represented by a bow and arrow is it is a metaphor for the sun going down at the end of fall into winter. So they say that the archer kills off the sun, and the sun dies. It's at its lowest point, in the northern hemisphere anyway, at its lowest point after Sagittarius, because Sagittarius kills the sun. So that here's a relief that clearly pictures, it leaves no doubt, who Enlil represents. He's Sagittarius, he's Jupiter. So this is who the Babylonian Empire revered eventually. Initially they did not revere. They eventually came to revere this Enlil figure. Enlil is the eagle, the lightning bolt, the storm god, Zeus, Jupiter. It is no coincidence then that the first openly Jesuit pope, again, the Vatican is the New Babylon, Rome was the New Babylon. So the first openly Jesuit pope, Jorge Mario Bergoglio, is a Sagittarius. That is by design. His last name, Bergoglio, has multiple overlap with Sagittarius and Jupiter. There's also overlap with Storm Planet, which is the description of Jupiter. Also, most of Pope Francis's significant dates are in Sagittarius and Pisces. He was born in Sagittarius. He was ordained in Sagittarius. he became a cardinal in Pisces. His papacy began in Pisces. This is all homage to Jupiter. Jupiter rules Sagittarius and Pisces. The symbol for the zodiac sign of Pisces is fish. The Pope wears a mitre hat, which is also called a fish hat. It is intentionally shaped like the head of a fish with an open mouth. The hat that the Pope wears, called a mitre. It's a fish hat. That's a reference to Pisces, which is actually a reference to Jupiter, because Jupiter rules Pisces. The mitre hat also originated in ancient Sumer, where priests of the god Dagon, which is also called Dagon to the later Akkadian cultures, they wore the fish hat. So this is where the papal fish hat comes from. It comes from ancient Sumer. Priests to Dagon wore that fish hat. And Wikipedia's description of the god, Dagon or Dagon, quote, the god's name derives from the root DGN, Digan, which meant to be cloudy, implying that he was originally a weather god. So in Gematria, the term weather god sums to 52. Just like Enlil sums to 52, just like flood sums to 52. Also, stormy planet sums to 52. God of thunder sums to 52. Power outage sums to 52. Now, there's also the issue of St. Peter's bones. On Sunday, December 24th, 2013, Pope Francis and the Vatican displayed what was said to be some bones that belonged to the body of St. Peter. They were in a little box, an ornate box. They said that box contained some bones that were part of St. Peter's body. That was on December. No, actually, I made a mistake. It's November 24th. Like, on the website, I wrote December 24th. It's November 24th. This date is in Sagittarius. November 24th is in Sagittarius. And the date 24th was chosen because the glyph or symbol for the planet Jupiter looks like the number 24. And I showed what it looks like. So 24 was part of that. And just to wrap it up, this all sets the backdrop and puts into context Pope Francis's upcoming high ritual visit to Iraq very soon, next month. Of course, this trip next month will be in Pisces, because Pisces is ruled by Jupiter. So Enlil is the archetype of Jupiter and originates from ancient Mesopotamia, which is now the location of the country of Iraq. The trip will end on a date with 52 numerology in homage to Enlil. That's March 8th, 2021. 3 plus 8 plus 20 plus 21 is 52. The date 8th March, which is written 8-3, is also homage to Enlil. Enlil, in reverse ordinal, sums to 83. So I already have a major decode on the Pope's visit to Iraq, which is Babylon. It's all about Babylon. I think it all goes back to Babylon. That's what it's all about, and I already have a decode on that. It's pretty interesting. So this will give context to my decode on the Pope's visit to Iraq. Well, another thing I want to say is there's no evil planet or good planet. All planets, all stars, influence, they have a positive and negative influence. There's no positive planet and negative planet. So what the elite sorcery, this is ancient sorcery, what they do is they've chosen for whatever reason to invoke the negative energies of Jupiter. That doesn't mean that Jupiter is evil. In fact, Jupiter is actually known in astrology as the greater benefic, which means benefic, benefactor. It's good. It's seen as fatherly, and it has to do with expansion and good luck. It has a positive side. So it's not that Jupiter is negative. Everything has a positive and negative force. They've chosen to invoke the negative aspect of Jupiter. So dictatorships, authoritarianism, that comes from Jupiter. That's a Jovian energy. That's why 52 is also a number for authority as well, because 52 is end with 52. That also refers to weather and authority. That's all Jovian. That's not to say that Jupiter is like a bad planet and others are good. That's not how it works. They've chosen to invoke that negative aspect of Jupiter. So yeah, just to clear that up. So yeah, after this, I'll go into the Pope's at a later date into the Pope's visit to Babylon, that's what it is.
Well, awesome as always, Rambo, and this one right on time too, because it just adds further insight. The only 52 that I saw that you missed in there was, again, Valentine's Day equals 52, fitting in with the whole thing that you're pointing out there, and the weather phenomenon. And right now they're calling what's happening in Houston the Winter Harvey, and again, Hurricane Harvey happened on a 52-date numerology, which was also the 239th day of the year as well, which is the 52nd prime. And again, they won the World Series 52 days after the first game played in Houston in baseball. And the first pitcher of that game was Matt Harvey after the flooding of Harvey. Rambo, do you have a take on how they're achieving what they're doing? I mean, what's your thought on how they got the temperature down to the single digits in Houston, a city that normally doesn't experience temperatures anywhere near that? Is it technology, or is it something more than technology?
Yeah, it could. Technology is probably the most likely answer. But yeah, so I know something more. You mean like sorcery? Yeah, absolutely. They use sorcery as well. Absolutely. That's why they have to keep using the same symbols, the same. Gematria, they say it's for manifestation. So you manifest. What magic is the ability to manifest, to make events happen. That's what magic is, and that's actually what Gematria is part of magic, and what Gematria is used for manifestation. So yeah, there is the fact that we see these numbers come out in Gematria. I think that is indicative of the fact that yes, they are using sorcery, and that's what they use magic to manifest. But it's both. It's technology and which that's the thing. That's something that we've been discouraged from using. If you're more religious, you're told this is evil. Don't do rituals. Don't do any of that astrology stuff. That's of the devil. Well, they tell you that, so you don't do it. But they do it. It's to disarm you. You believe it's of the devil, so you don't do it. But it's okay for them to do it. Or if you're not religious, you're more from a scientific. They tell you this is mumbo jumbo. This is superstition. This is pseudoscience. You don't want to be associated with that. Don't touch that stuff. Again, that's to stop you from doing it. There's some people telling you to do it. They do it. So things like rituals and knowing how to manifest, that's something that they've taken away from us that actually would work for positive if it's used for positive.
Indeed. Yeah, well said, Rambo. Really appreciate the work as always, and can't wait for the next one. Thank you so much, friend.
Well, I appreciate it. Have a great rest of the show.
And you have a good evening, friend. Take care. All right. More brilliant work from Rambo. And veteran caller, are you staying warm down there, Texas?
It's cold down here, man.
Did you lose your power?
Can you hear me?
I hear you. Did you lose your power?
No, I didn't lose the power, but I got down to like single digits, which is unusual. I mean, I've experienced it before, but never in... I'm just north of Houston.
Okay.
So to say it would be unusual, but to answer to your question, you asked Rambo a question about how could they get the temperature so cold, and I noted something the other night. It was colder in Houston the night before last than it was in Anchorage, Alaska.
Yeah, think about that.
So they have a Tesla technology called scalar interferometer. Okay, it's an energetic weapon. Okay. And what they do, it has two modes. It has an exothermic and an endothermic mode, okay? That endothermic mode takes energy out of the air, makes it very cold. And the exothermic mode does the exact opposite, okay? With that, you can develop
rapidly deforming high pressures or rapidly forming cold pressures, okay? High and low pressure, sorry. So what they do, they take a normal Arctic high and then they apply an interferometer scalar weaponry to it, and they put it in endothermic mode to make it colder than it is. And that, in other words, they take energy out of the atmosphere. That's how they get it that cold.
So just
there's a guy named Richard Hoagland.
Wait, just real quick, just to be clear then. So this doesn't mean that they actually have to shift cold air from the northern hemisphere. They can actually just manipulate the temperature through this technology essentially anywhere?
Yeah, they can.
Okay.
They did it in the 70s the first time, and I know they did in the 70s first time because I used to live in Chicago at that time, and they had a very cold winter of 79. They got down to 29 degrees below zero, which is very unusual. I mean, it gets cold in Chicago, don't get me wrong.
Sure.
It doesn't get 29 degrees below zero.
Sure.
We had like 3 feet of snow, and I mean, it literally, it snowed for a good month and a half off and on. We had snow, 3 feet, 6 inches, another foot. So that was a very weird winter in Chicago. It was one of the most violent winters. But that's how they do it. There's a guy named Richard Hoagland. He's the first guy who really came out. I don't know how he came across this. He was a scientist at the Redstone Arsenal in Huntsville, Alabama. And he came across a lot of this technology, and it's Tesla-based. It's a scalar interferometer. Basically, that's what HARP is. It's a scalar interferometer, okay? It can change the direction of jet streams and can manipulate high and low pressures at a distance. And what they have nowadays is they have a array of NextRad radars that add the precipitation element into it. So you can induce condensation nuclei at a location. So the technology is very advanced, very, very advanced. I mean, they have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, dozens of ways to manipulate the weather the way they want to at a location. And they set Texas up. I mean, if anybody can't really see that for what it is, temperatures never get this low here.
Right. Right.
Kind of weird.
Yeah.
But that's the technology they use. It's an energetic weapon based on Tesla tech, and they put it in endothermic mode. It's a scalar interferometer. It takes a high pressure and makes it even more intense. So the air is in high pressures, the air sinks. In low pressures, the air rises. Okay. So you have that sinking air from the atmosphere, and you take an Arctic low, you bring it down, and then you intensify it. That's what happened. So you make it stronger, colder than it would normally be. And then you put it on the edge where you have a lot of precipitation, and then you put fronts on the edges of it, and they cause the precipitation. You have icy precipitation on it, which is exactly what happened. I mean, you have Gulf air right there, and you're going to have sleet, freezing rain, some snow, and it really screws things up for an area that doesn't get winter.
Sure. The technology you're bringing up, do you know where people could read more about this or get more information?
Yeah, again, the scientist who brought it to fore, his name is Richard Hoagland. I've known about it for over 20 years, and it's the technical term. It's an energetic weapon. It's a scalar interferometer, and again, it has 2 modes. This is based on reading that I did a number of years ago, endothermic and exothermic mode. But if you do any research on a guy named Dr. Richard Hoagland, you can come across his work.
How do you spell his last name?
He's done some very good work on it.
How do you spell his surname?
It's Hoagland.
I see him.
I believe that's, Dr. Richard Hoagland. They scrubbed a lot of his stuff from the internet. I mean, I'm going to tell you something. Over the last 20 years, I would think in the last 10 years, they scrubbed a lot of scientists who came out with this new class of weaponry called energetics. They don't want people knowing about it. You could really get a lot of information about the early 90s, early 2000s, and then in the last 10 years, they went full, bore and trying to scrub it because they're using it actively, okay? And they want to keep it in the fringe area in people's minds, like UFOs. So,
sure.
if you come across, you got to really dig deep. In other words, and I wouldn't use a Google search to do it. I'd use DuckDuckGo or something like that.
I just went to DuckDuckGo to see if it comes up better. But yeah, it is true. I mean, they are just scrubbing so much information from the internet.
I mean,
it's ridiculous.
It's not just that fact. They're scrubbing everything. I mean, everything of it. It's really hard to do. A lot of the research stuff that was available maybe 10, 15 years ago, you can't find that stuff.
I know all about it.
That's why your work. Yeah, that's why your work is important, and I'm glad you backed up your stuff on Odyssey, because it's going to come a day where we won't be able to find your stuff on YouTube or anything like that.
Yeah, I know that. So there's already a lot that they've flushed down the drain. Well, I appreciate all that information. I'm gonna do some more research on that, because it's obvious they got something like that. I mean, I wouldn't have thought it was possible to get it to single digits in Houston. I mean, I've been there. That's a hot city.
Tell you something that's really. Yeah, I'm going to tell you something that's really weird. About 2 weeks ago, my fingers were getting like numb and something. And I mean, they're still a little numb, and I'm not cold. I mean, I've gotten frostbite once in my life, okay? Because I live in a really cold climate once. So you know how your hands feel when they're warming up after you've been in real cold? They have that numbing feeling, and they're getting back to warmth.
Sure.
And you can put them under hot water, and they still feel numb, but they're warm. That's how my hands have felt for the last week and a half before. And that to me was a signature that they were using this technology. Sucking energy out of the atmosphere.
Sure. Yeah.
Kind of weird.
Yeah, indeed. And it's like, I hope this wakes up some more people. It definitely didn't wake up my sister, but I don't think anything's going to wake her up. But she's staying at my mom's house right now.
Weather warfare.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, weather warfare is a real phenomena, ongoing.
Yeah. So, well, I appreciate all the information, friend. Great call. You have a good night and stay warm down there. All right, take care.
Okay, take care.
All right, see you. Okay, let's go out to New Jersey. What's up, New Jersey?
How you doing, Zach?
Doing well. How are you?
Good. I called you last week about the fonts and news articles, the glyphs. I sent you to your email a whole bunch of them, of news articles that I've caught on to. And the most recent one is the Tampa Bay guy who just died at 38.
Oh, yeah, Vincent Jackson, the receiver.
Yes. I sent that to the what is that, Number Games email.
Okay.
In there, you'll see how 38 in the story, they have the 3 low, the 8 at normal height. They'll have 2007, they'll have the 200 small, the 7 big. If you stare at the numbers, they're doing something with it.
Sure, emphasizing the 7 after Brady and the Bucks win the 7th Super Bowl on the 38th day of the year, then he dies at age 38 just days after. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Same thing with the time at the top with the 444, the timestamp.
Okay. I'll go back and revisit those emails. I appreciate those observations and you sending them to me. Anything else you want to get out there tonight?
No, just that. I hope something clicks in your head of what the hell they're doing with that.
Sure.
Maybe a bigger code for us.
Sure. More number rituals, that's for sure. I'll go back and look at it. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, yeah, you have a good night. All right, let's go out to Texas. How are we doing in Texas?
Hey, Zach.
How are you? It's good to hear your voice. Are you staying warm?
It's been tough. I am so glad. I bought a generator about a month ago.
Good for you.
And we would not have made this last few days had I not had that thing. And that's a fact. So I suggest anybody who's living in a place where they can hook up a generator outside, go down to Harbor Freight and get yourself one right away. Because I checked out all the little propane burners and stuff like that for heat in case the power went out. And it was gonna be kind of just hit and miss and touch and go. And actually, after the last cold front we had a month ago, which only lasted like a day, 2 days. Every, like Home Depot was sold out of those, Walmart was sold out, everything was sold out. I mean, people in the cities around here, they just jammed on those places and bought them, just clean them out. So I went to Harbor Freight and bought a big generator. I'm about to buy an even bigger one because this one will carry, you know, a couple of small space heaters and a couple of lights, but it's not like you can run your whole house on them, you know.
Sure.
And I've got a pretty big one. But yeah, waking up in the morning and the room is like a freezer, and having to get dressed and go outside and crank up your generator is not a pleasant deal.
Sure.
You know, but it's more pleasant than not having it available.
Indeed. Right.
So, yeah, I feel so bad for the homeless people because I know there are probably literally thousands dead in Houston.
I got to imagine.
There's no way. I mean,
absolutely.
I'm fully geared up, and I go because I lived in Colorado for 10 years, but the cold here is real different. It's piercing. It's just incredible because there's so much humidity in the air. And by the way, I wanted to mention that the guy that called last and talked about Richard Hoagland. What they use here is primarily to move weather around is the next red systems, and those are vulnerable. You can find them, and they're small units. They're not huge units, but that's how they direct weather. And the way they build up the moisture is all the cooling towers. And all the way up Highway 79 from Waco to, you know, far east, northeast Texas is nothing but those huge companies with huge water cooling towers.
The music came on. Sit tight. We'll be right back, everybody. Stay with us over the break.
Discover the extraordinary powers of intuitive healing with pain transmutation, a method of holistic healing for the human soul, body, mind, and emotions. If you are looking for answers and a deep understanding of how to help yourself and the people around you to live a happier, healthier life, this is the right place for you. Learn how to read your soul's history in the Akashic Records. Remove negative energy attachments from your astral body and start the process of inner and outer pain transmutation. Join Pain Transmutation Community to get started on the path of intuitive healing. Change your energetic state, manifest new and exciting experiences, re-energize your life, and build inspiring connections with others in our community.
Do you want to lose weight but have no idea where to begin? The Fast Start Diet, a 3-day weight loss plan, is the answer. 3 days of nutritionally balanced, calorie-restricted meals delivered right to your door. No shopping, no measuring, and no cooking. Everything is prepared for you and ready to eat at home or on the go. The Fast Start Diet has all the amazing benefits of intermittent fasting without starving. We've helped thousands of people who have struggled to reach their weight loss goals. Isn't it time we helped you? With the Fast Start Diet, you'll lose weight and feel great.
Find us on Amazon or go to faststartdiet.com and use promo code POWER to get $10 off your first box. As a special bonus, we will include our #1 rated Lipo3 appetite suppressant spray free with your order. Whatever your diet plans are, start with us at faststartdiet.com and use promo code POWER.
Greetings, Earth Explorers. My name is Brooks Agnew, and I am your host on X Squared Radio every Sunday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on the Truth Frequency Radio Network. This is where the past meets the future. We explore the mysteries of the universe and of the Earth. We might go a little past your imagination, but have no fear. You will be safely traveling with us. We will dissolve the propaganda of dangerous people. with dangerous plans for the planet. We will discuss the latest technologies and challenges for humankind. We will discover the safest place for you to stand when the thinkings and doings of mankind come flying apart, and how you can be one of the people that helps put it back together. Join us.
No hate, no hype, no fear. We are TFR, your protection from deception.
All right, we're back, True Seeker. That was my E-mom that got cut off by the commercial break, so we're going to go right back to her. And again, what she said, you know, she bought a generator a month ago, and she's saying we probably wouldn't have made it. I mean, that may or may not be true, but again, you guys, I mean, that's why an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And I was telling you guys all last year, you better have some supplies on hand in case they do cut the power grid on you in the middle of winter. And man, the last place I was thinking this would happen to was Houston, but it just shows you, man, that the stuff they got is advanced, and man, oh man, do they really like to pick on the city of Houston. And now in hindsight, it's like, man, Houston had the exact numbers I was looking at, so in terms of numbers, it makes sense, but I would have never believed that you'd see temperatures of single digits in Houston. So let's go back out to veteran caller who was making some great points. Sorry about that commercial break, friend. You're back on.
Thanks, Zach. Yeah, I wanted to say, too, one of the reasons that Texas may be getting hit really bad right now is because there is actually a Tesla tower that was built about 3 hours south of me, between me and Houston.
I'm sure that is something.
Or actually between me and San Antonio.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And, yeah, they may be trying it out. But, you know, ice nucleation has been going on for decades. I mean, since the 70s probably, because they used it to build up snow in the mountains for the ski resorts. So they're real familiar with doing that. But the biggest problem is getting those water towers shut down, getting people aware of them, and getting them shut down before a big storm like this. And I know about 6 years ago, you know, I tried to turn you on to this channel, Weather War 101.
Right.
And Marty kind of shut you down on that one. He said it was Disney-esque, but you know, he got tired of trying to explain to people over and over and over, so he just put that little, you know, 1950s thing about how evaporative cooling, you know, forms water, and at the beginning of his vids. But if you watch them, you'll see how they use like heterodyne waves in order to move moisture around to build storms and to build tornadoes and hurricanes. They use that technology for everything. Sure. But I think they've had it all along. I don't think this is the first time that weather warfare has been used on this world.
Sure.
And I think they've pretty much wiped out the human race a number of times here.
That's entirely possible. People should really think about that.
I'm not a Bible buff.
Well, just to interrupt
in the Bible, in Isaiah 1, verse 7, it talks about aliens, and they've changed that now on the new international version. You know, they kind of cleaned it up and made it strangers. But originally, it said, your country is desolate. Your cities are burned with fire. Your fields are being stripped away by aliens right before you, laid waste as when overthrown by aliens. And I believe that's what we're dealing with. You know, they may have the technology and they may use, you know, like Gematria for setting up in the minds of people, because magic is manifestation, but we all manifest every day with every thought. And so we can actually use this as a form of weapon against them too. You know, it's not just raising your frequency, it's raising your frequency and going against them.
Sure.
You know, using that thought to go against them.
Sure. The first law of
Because I don't
Hermeticism.
think we can beat the technology.
Right. The first law of Hermeticism is all is mental. Mentalism. So, indeed.
Right. Exactly.
Indeed. And the point you were making about it's possible that, you know, humanity was like this in the past and it was all destroyed and then they're just bringing it back, you know, and recreating the same thing. I always entertain that thought because to me it's amazing how technology just continues to advance at a steady pace, and it's like, how does it just continue to advance like this?
Exactly.
So, yeah, so a lot of things for people to think about. Well, I really appreciate the call, and I'm glad you're staying warm, and yeah, get that bigger generator. So, be safe down there.
I'm going to do it.
All right, you have a good night. Take care, friend. Yeah, you know, if you can't afford a generator, at least have some propane, you know, a stove, propane stove, get some hot food. I mean, if you're freezing cold and you can boil some hot water and just drink hot water, have some hot tea, I mean, even that can be so helpful. So, whatever you guys can manage, you really should do it. Let's go out to Delaware. What's up, Delaware?
Hey, what's going on, Zach?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Yeah, wow, that sucks for all the people out there in Texas going through all the cold weather. Yeah, here in North Carolina, we're supposed to be getting some ice or snow too. Yeah. But I was gonna ask you, did you hear about how West or Central Africa declared Ebola again?
No, I did not. So Ebola's back, huh?
Yeah, and there's some interesting numbers on the president of Equatorial Guinea, where the spread was declared. So Equatorial Guinea, if I'm pronouncing it right, it's one of the 21 Spanish-speaking countries in Africa, or the only country in Africa that pretty much speaks Spanish, or the language is predominantly Spanish. Central Africa equals 57, like Scottish Rite. The president's name is his full name. I might want to pronounce that or try to. Equals 120, like Illuminati. They said that he was the first person to get the round of the Chinese COVID-19 vaccine, which I find kind of strange. When you write out Chinese COVID-19 vaccine, it equals 470 in reverse. You drop the zero, you get 47.
It's okay. We don't have to decode everything over the air. Again, the show's always better when we just come in with information, because decodes over the air, unless you have a visual on the screen, they just don't resonate with people. But yeah, this is a good catch on the Ebola thing, because I mean that was something they teased us with a few years ago, and I mean that would be a real pandemic if they unleashed Ebola on us. I mean Ebola's a nasty thing. So yeah, that was Valentine's Day. That news broke on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. And I kind of find it sick how they released that during like Black History Month.
Right.
With the whole Ebola in Africa.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
I've been trying to wake my friends up too. They keep calling me conspiracy theorist, but it's like at this point, like everything is so obvious. Like I try and tell them with sports too. Like I try and tell them with like UFC. Like I tried to tell my friend about like how with the whole Jose Aldo and Conor McGregor fight, how old dude's name equaled 13 and he got knocked out in 13 seconds. I tried to tell him that, like, dude. I tried to tell my friend that too.
Show him the more recent fight. The more recent fight, McGregor goes down in UFC 257 to the fighter's name who equals 257. I mean, a lot of people made a lot of money off that. You want to keep sleeping on this knowledge, you're just gonna hurt your own pocketbook. So, I mean, again, they say don't cast your pearls before swine. So.
Right, and I tried to tell him about the Usman fight too, because I put money down on the Usman fight and won $110, and he was trying to tell me that he was trying to tell me that fighting's not rigged, or the UFC's not rigged. But I'm like, dude, you can go read books that tell you that fighting has known to be rigged ever since the 1800s, and like even before that. Like, there's even documentaries about how this shit's rigged, because like they have rankings now, and like if it was real as people say it is, they wouldn't even have the rankings and whatnot, and they wouldn't even have the fucking Zionist Jew brother Ron Emanuel, Israel's brother, wouldn't even be the owner or the commissioner of it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
indeed. Well, I appreciate the observations as always, friend, and stay safe out there and keep trying to persuade them. Some of these sleepers, they just don't want to wake up. That's just the reality of the situation. So it's their loss. At the end of the day, it's their loss. So.
Yeah, I get paid on Friday, so I plan on buying your book and a couple other things too. I got your CashApp name and everything on your Patreon too. Yeah, I'm back on Patreon too, so yeah.
Appreciate that. Well, thank you very much.
I'm back on it now.
Man.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be back on it and everything, trying to like just wake people up. You know what I'm saying? I've been sleeping for a minute because I've been trying to get some things done, trying to stack some money up so that way I don't gotta rely on like a slave job no more. I can just be good.
Sure.
Like I'm not trying to rely on any more, no more McDonald's, no more Food Line, Harris Teeter, any of that shit anymore. Like I'm just trying to, just be good, like just save up money. It's like get my survival stuff ready. Like you said, like you never know, like where they're taking us is not a good place. So, I want to be prepared, have like a hunting rifle, my fishing stuff ready, like just be prepared for what can be in store next, because it's not looking too good.
It's not, and people better be prepared. And that's the reality. A lot of people will not be prepared because they're going to remain asleep and think the government's looking out for them, and they don't want to get it. And in the end, it's going to be their downfall. So, But stay strong out there, friend. I appreciate
all
it,
these
man.
people out here. Well, you're welcome, man.
Yeah. And thanks again for the support too. Yeah, make sure you say who it is. I'll sign your copy of the book when you get in contact with me. But thank you.
You're welcome, man. I appreciate it.
All right. Yeah, you have a good night, friend. Take care.
Thank you.
All right. Just a reminder, you guys, try not to cuss on the Wednesday night show. Other nights of the week is fine. Let's go out to Virginia. What's up, Virginia?
Hey, what's going on, Zach? How you doing?
Doing well, thank you.
Yeah, I just had a quick thing. Do you know who Optic Hex is?
Optic Hex? I don't think so.
Okay, so he's basically like an owner of a major organization, like one of the biggest organizations in like the esports world, or just in the gaming world in general. So like this gaming stuff is really becoming mainstream, and I'm pretty sure that they're starting to to influence this also. I have a post on Free to Find Truth, kind of go with what I said or what I have. So earlier today, he posted a video on his YouTube channel with just the hashtag 201 in the tags, just for no reason. Like there's no relevance in the video. There's no, nothing in the title about 201. There's really no reason to just randomly put 201 in the tags for the video, right? And so there's a hashtag 201 in the video, and then so I took a screenshot of it and posted on Free to Find Truth. And then I went back to the video like right now, just to see or before I called in to see if it was still there, and it's gone now. So I don't know what they're doing there, but they took that 201 out. And another thing, along with just this community, this whole area of he's like the Call of Duty, the game, the main, it's the biggest game right now, Call of Duty. Anyone who plays console games or any games in general knows what Call of Duty is. So this is the most mainstream game, the most place to probably get the most influence. So it wouldn't surprise me. But another thing that I found was recently there was a guy who is a pro player in Call of Duty. So these guys are competing for millions of dollars. Recently they they recently became a franchise league. So it's basically similar to the NFL, the NBA, right? These teams have to pay apparently $25 million to join this league. So like this is like the real deal, right? Like you can gamble on these games. Like there's like, you know, like it's a legit thing. Like you can go to sports bettings and just gamble on them. So obviously there's like some influence here, but so one of like the pro players in the community recently announced that he had like a thumb injury and had to like step down. So like in gaming, like it's hard to say that someone has like a certain type of injury. So like a thumb injury is like perfect for this scenario, right? Like in basketball, someone gets an ankle injury, like a thumb injury is just perfect for this situation, right? So his name is Zuma, Zoomaa, spelled like a weird way, right? Like, but that equals 71 and 26, just like thumb equals 71 and 26. He also recently switched from a team called FaZe to another team called NYSL, which have the same 4 values in all ciphers, 70, 16, 38, and 20. And then after I came across this, I went back and remembered that, you know, there was like a weird kind of suicide in the community where there was this guy who apparently they say that he killed himself, but his parents came out the same day and said that his son would never do that. Like, there's no way, like, stop saying this about my son. That's not the case. And, like, his girlfriend was saying, no, he killed himself. You know, some other people were saying it, but it was just like a weird situation, right? But his name, like his real name, equals 86, just like blood sacrifice, just like human sacrifice. His like in-game name, like the alias he goes by in-game, is Pharaoh. It goes, and it's 44, 64, just like Killer's 44 and 64. So like I went back and saw this, and I'm just like, wow, they're just, you know, anything that just becomes mainstream and just gets pushed out there, they just find a way to just dive themselves into it.
Sure. It's sad to say, but I mean, it doesn't surprise me. It's like that's the way to climb the ladder in this world, is to, I guess, off the people around you. Very, very interesting. I appreciate the observations, man. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, just like esports in general, like it's getting as mainstream as sports now. Like this stuff, you know, there's already events that are literally on the TV, like on the main TV. Like you can go pull up HBO or TNT, and like there's been some events on the TV. So this stuff is getting mainstream, right? Like,
sure. And it just makes sense. In a world where people can't go outside, it's going to become more mainstream. So yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
all right, man. Appreciate all that.
Crazy. Yeah.
All right, you have a good night.
Have a good one.
Thank you. All right, let's go out to Wisconsin. It's colder in Texas than it is in Wisconsin. What's going on, Wisconsin?
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
Welcome.
I just wanted to point out to the listeners that tomorrow is February 18th, 2/18, and as you know, death equals 218. And it also has 25 date numerology. Death equals 25. And I just want to add that I think there's a very high probability that John Madden will be sacrificed tomorrow. I got my notes here.
I see where you're going already. That's because all the football-related deaths. Tampa Bay equals 25. So, okay. And I've been saying, where is John Madden? Where is John Madden at?
John Madden equals 182, and February 18th can be written as 18/2.
Okay.
It also has 61 date numerology, and John Earl Madden equals 61. Commentator equals 61. Las Vegas Raiders equals 61. It also has 41 numerology. Madden equals 41. 218 is the 49th day of the year. NFL equals 49. Super Bowl equals 49.
He's 84 years old right now, and Tampa's 84, just like Jesuit.
Madden equals 84 in Jewish. Solar eclipse equals 804. English Sumerian. Vesica Pisces equals 804 Sumerian. Super Bowl 55 was played on February 7th, which is 55 days after the total solar eclipse of December 14th, 2020. And 257 is the 55th prime number. Total solar eclipse equals 257. Blood sacrifice equals 257. and 67. Total solar eclipse also equals 67. Human sacrifice equals 67. And February 18th is 67 days after the total solar eclipse of December 14th. John Madden entered the NFL as a coach in 1967. Football coach equals 67. Super Bowl 55 was played on February 7th, 1 month and 24 days after the total solar eclipse. John Earl Madden equals 124. Madden football equals 124. Total solar eclipse was on 12/13/20, which had 46 date numerology. Sacrifice equals 46. And from John Madden's 84th birthday on April 10th, /10, 2020 to February 18th, 2021 is a span of 45 weeks. Ritual equals 410 in Jewish and 45 in reversible reduction. So I think there's a lot there. He's 84 years old, and that's been a big number lately that you've been calling out. So
yeah, and I'll say this, even if it ends up not being John Madden tomorrow, you're right, though. Tomorrow does have a good chance at a celebrity death, especially in connection to football, because for all the reasons you just stated, it's got the 25-date numerology at Tampa Bay. It's also got 41-date numerology, and Super Bowl's 41. It's like there's been a celebrity dying almost every single day in connection to the Super Bowl in recent weeks. So I could see it. We'll see. So no more turducken if that happens.
Well, then.
Appreciate it, man. You stay warm there in Wisconsin. You have a good night.
Yep.
Take care. All right, let's go out to Delaware again. What's up, Delaware?
Hi, Zach.
How you doing?
Along with that John Madden thing, I mean, I already tell from his, if he does die tomorrow, to his next, from that day to his next birthday is 51 days. And if it is a Tom Brady thing, you know, the 51st modern era Super Bowl. And John Madden, when I search his name up, I mean, it just says, look, it says his height is 6 feet 4 inches, and it just says in there, same as Tom Brady.
Huh. Well, what I find interesting is Sports Illustrated put up an article today reflecting on Raiders and NFL legend John Madden. And they do this kind of stuff so often. They'll like talk about somebody right before they pass. Like, why'd they put up that article today? So...
Yeah, did you see the Undefeated's new thing?
No. What's the latest? Again, for people who don't know, the Undefeated called, not this past season, but the season before, they said it's the year of the black quarterback, and they had a picture of Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson, and they were shaking hands, and in the headline, they emphasized words that equaled Black History Month, and we said, uh-oh, this is making a lot of sense here, and then sure enough, on the first day of Black History Month, Lamar Jackson was league MVP, and then on the second day of Black History Month, Patrick Mahomes was Super Bowl MVP. But what's the latest from them?
Well, I mean, they're always putting Patrick Mahomes in there, but they just had this new story, and they used the word, they use this word, and that, if you go on there right now, you see them, and it says he's unafraid, and he's just like, he's just a strong quarterback, but the word they used, it equals 62 and 64, just like the Big Chiefs number, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And yeah, so Stone Cold just had his 56th birthday, right?
Okay, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh, I want you to calculate from that day to the Super Bowl. I mean, he might have already did, but if you haven't, try and do that. And then there's two players I'm thinking of that look at their numbers, and you might know who's in the Super Bowl, who I think's in the Super Bowl.
I'll take a look at it.
I said last time.
I'll check it out.
You will look at it?
Yeah, I will definitely look at it. So, appreciate it, man. Good thoughts there. Thank you.
All right, wait. I'm at but here's the thing I wanted to go over. Remember last time I said, you know, I said I might have a prediction ready. It's Lil Uzi Vert. Did he get the pink diamond on his 187th day of his age, or 187 days after his birthday?
Yeah, and Pink Diamond equaled 187 as well. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, and it also equals 110. And if he dies on November 19th, November 17th, 11.
Yeah, 1117 is the 187th
11.
prime, and 11 times 17 is 187. I see what you're saying. So.
And from his birthday to that, that'll be his 110th day of his. That'll be the 110th day of his age, and Pink Diamond equals 110 too.
Interesting. Okay, well, we'll look out for that. He did predict his own death at age 27.
Yeah.
He's going to turn 27 this year, so we'll see.
Yeah, and the Pink Diamond is the color of love, and he has like a lot of Love is Rage too. That's one of his albums.
Okay.
And I don't know. I just found it interesting.
All right.
Appreciate
it, man.
That's the thing to look out for his age, and Ignatius of Loyola died on a day with 109 date numerology, and November 17th is 109 days after Lil Uzi's birthday.
All right. Appreciate it, man. Good observations. Thank you.
Yeah, and hold up. Did you also see he's up?
I'm not going to hold up again, man. Again, there's a lot of people on hold. You guys can't just keep talking all night. Let's go out to California. What's up, California?
Hey, Zach, how's it going?
Yeah, what's up, man? 30 seconds till the commercial break.
Hey, Zach, can you hear me?
I hear you. What's up?
Okay, I just want to make it really quick. So, have you ever heard of Richard E. Byrd and his documents about Antarctica and all that stuff? About, the possible hollow earth theory? Have you ever heard about that?
Yeah, I'm familiar.
Okay, so I did some research today, and he was a Freemason, and I was just trying to see if you have any insights about that. Agartha and I think E. Byrd also both equal 56. So do you have any speculations about that?
Not really. No, it's something I need to research more.
Okay.
We'll be right back, everybody. Quick commercial break.
So you think that's just the...
It's interesting. It is interesting, though. But yeah, I got to research it more. We'll be right back, everybody.
All right.
Truth Frequency Radio is your #1 source for news and information without the hate, hype, and fear. We're proud to feature cutting-edge programs like Beyond the Veil with Chris and Cherie Geo, X Squared with Brooks Agnew, Paranormal Portal with Brent Thomas, Sharonism Raw with Sharon Atmissa, Fearless with Frank Castle, Strange World with Mark Sargent, The Eye of Ra with Rob Castaldo, The Infinite Fringe with Billy Ray, Ironworks with Josh Corey, The Kev Baker Show, and dozens more. Did you know you can listen from any telephone by dialing 641-793-7117 or call into your favorite show toll free at 833-TFR Live. Uncensored talk and news you won't hear in the mainstream media. Truth Frequency Radio, your protection from deception.
Pushing for coronavirus relief. I'm Rich Dennison, Fox News. President Biden today continuing his efforts to gain support for his nearly $2 trillion COVID-19 relief package.
President Biden says a COVID relief package isn't just about the dollars.
It's about, in order to do everything from open schools as we should, to make sure that we're generating income for people who are in real trouble.
The president met with several labor union leaders in the Oval Office as he continues building support for a $1.9 trillion recovery measure. The proposal within President Biden's plan would also increase over time the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour, a provision that has received pushback from some Democrats.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. 6,000 members of the National Guard remain mobilized to protect buildings and monuments in the nation's capital, and several Republicans are asking when they'll be heading home.
We've heard from a top Pentagon official about what they see or don't see as the threat.
At this time, I'm not aware of a threat that is out there, but that evolves all the time.
3,000 of these National Guard are from Washington, D.C. Defense officials tell me they originally planned to keep the Guard in D.C. following threats by QAnon supporters to mark March 4th, the traditional inauguration date, until 1937.
Fox's Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon. Former President Trump today discussing the death of conservative radio icon Rush Limbaugh, saying the 70-year-old fought to stay alive until the November election after his diagnosis with terminal cancer.
He worked so hard to get through the election, and he was just great. He made it.
Last year, Trump awarded Limbaugh the Presidential Medal of Freedom. The radio host was 70 years old. America is listening to Fox News.
Wherever you are, make it T. Truth Frequency Radio.
Condition orange. Condition orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
We have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal.
More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them.
Think for yourself. Question authority.
This code has been compromised.
All right, True Seeker. Before I go back to the call board, there's a gentleman who's been trying to contact us from weeks. He has an interesting story about Tupac, and he's really wanted to share it with the community. And he's been wanting to call in when Jonathan and I do live streams, but it just hasn't worked out. So he asked if I could please call him tonight around 8 p.m. So it just came back to me. So I'm going to give him a call right now. And hopefully the story lives up to the hype. You just never know. You just never know what's going to happen next. So.
What up, Zach?
Hey, man, what's up? You're on. We're ready for the story. Yeah, tell us all about it.
All right, buddy. Ben, okay, so, first of all, before I get to the story, this is the thing that I wanted to talk to you and Jonathan about. Have you ever seen the movie, have you ever heard of Surviving the Game?
Oh, with Ice-T?
You do know about it. Shit, you never talk about it. You're not here to the
I talk about that movie. I love that movie. But yeah.
But, you know, it takes place in Seattle, how they, you know, it's like the same thing that's going on with they use the rapper, but they throw some guy out in the wild and they, like, hunt him down. It's kind of like what I think was happening with all these young rappers that are dying all the time.
Could be something like that. Okay.
Yeah, but, you know, it's so funny because it takes place in Seattle, and that's where all the stuff happens. So, anyways, so my Tupac story. So I'll start. So I used to do a sports talk radio show in Los Angeles, and I went to all the Tyson fights. We did live shows from Vegas, but for some reason I didn't go to that fight.
Tyson Holyfield.
Yes, right.
Okay.
And so for there was a club called. You remember the movie Night at the Roxbury?
I do. Yeah.
So that was a famous club off the Sunset Strip. It turned into a club called Miyagi's. Okay.
Okay.
And the night before, it was weird. It was like just a really weird. It was raining that day, so a lot of people didn't show up, and we were always in the VIP room. Usually there's only standing room only in the VIP room, but this night there's like 30 people in there, and then all of a sudden, who comes in? Tupac and some short, like a stubby blonde kid with glasses. Dude, it was so surreal, and I had like this weird feeling the whole time. And that night, I was with a couple of my friends and a famous porn star. She went by Kaylin Nicole, and you know, that's when boob girls started getting the big boob jobs, and her boobs were hanging out. And so we're like, "Hey, Tupac, you want to come sit with us?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure." remember the show Family Matters with Urkel?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, dude. So we're thinking this guy's going to be dropping F-bombs and cursing all the time. Zach, he was the nerdiest guy in the world. Me and my friends are looking at each other. First off, he wasn't even hitting on the porn star. Like, you would think like he's trying to hit on her and he wants to take her home. None of that. He was the nerdiest guy, and it was so bad where we asked him to see his Thug Life. He was wearing like a long white T-shirt. We asked him to see his Thug Life tattoo, and he was looking at us thinking like he knew why we were freaking out, right? So he gets up, he shows us the Thug Life tattoo. He sits back down. We're talking. He's the nicest guy in the world, but so nerdy. Like, he's talking like a white guy. It's the craziest thing. So me and my friends go to the bathroom. We're like, dude, what's going on? This is the weirdest thing. Like, is this really Tupac? He's got the earring in his nose. Like, it's just crazy. And then the other thing is, you would think like the bartender. It's almost like he wasn't there. The bartender. You think they'd call hey, dude, Tupac's here. You guys should come down. Nobody even came to our table. Just the waitress, like, hey, how are you? Like, oh my God, I'm a big fan. And he said a couple things to us. The porn star, she said to him, hey, how hard is it to memorize those lines? And he's like, oh my God, I don't have to memorize nothing. Like, these things stick out in my head. And then we're like, are you going to be touring again anytime soon? He goes, no, I think I'm done with touring. This is the day before he died. Okay? Right? So we're like, and then, so that was, wait, so then there's a huge window above, like, where the valet is, where everybody comes. So Zach, all of us, we were with him for like 45 minutes. He leaves at about, it's probably just over midnight, past midnight. So we're like watching him go out, and then all of a sudden it was like our own Truman Show. There was like 1,000 people, like, in the parking lot, like watching him like go. He gets in a Mercedes, and before he gets off, he's like acting like a gangster, like flipping everybody off. It's like completely different guy than what we sat with. It was crazy. People were like, Tupac, and he's like grabbing his dick. Can I say dick? I don't know. He's grabbing his balls, and he's like flipping everybody off. So we're on the way home. We're like, dude, that was Tupac. Nobody's coming to the table. It's the weirdest thing, right? So, really quick. So I used to work at a gym in Sherman Oaks called 24 Hour Fitness. Everybody's heard of that gym. And there's a guy there. I'm still friends with this day because now we think alike. So around 2004, 2005, he was telling me that 9/11 was an inside job. It's not what it seems, and he's trying to explain to me what false flags is, and I'm getting like upset with the guy. I'm calling him a liar. Like, dude, how can you say that about our government? Dude, I cannot believe you're saying that. He would tell me, Joey, go on YouTube, go look at this, and I would never do it because I'd be so pissed off. I'm like, dude, you're a Marine, and you're telling me that like our country is capable of doing this? He's like, dude, all of my Marine friends, we knew that we were fighting for some BS cause, and I was so pissed at him. 5 years goes by, 6 years. One day I'm laying in my bed on a Friday, and it hit, like, the weird feeling I got from that night with Tupac. Like in the Brady Bunch, when somebody has a bad dream, they like shoot out of bed, like, holy cow, they show the camera like the guy shoots out of bed. Sure. I went, you still there, by the way?
I'm here, yeah.
Okay, all right. So I'm like, it just hit me like that thing with Tupac that night, that weird feeling that I had in my stomach. So I went on the computer and I looked at everything that guy said. Zach, I went into a 6-month depression. I was so upset that I had kids. Like, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe that there's people in this world that do this. I was so depressed. And so I believe it. Now me and this guy are like the best of friends. Like, he told me about I got him hooked onto you now, by the way. And so he was telling me, like, later, Sandy Hook is fake. And even Sandy Hook, I was like, dude, how can you say that? They're little kids. But then, there's not little kids. It never happened. So, you have a couple minutes. I'm going to ask you, just like, I think I figured this out. You've been doing this for 8 years, right?
Almost. In August, it'll be 8 years.
Right. So, Elon Musk, I think he says that we live in a matrix, right? How do you feel about that?
Well, the whole simulation theory is pretty interesting. I mean, I don't know if it's true or not. It's interesting.
How do you, like, what is deja vu about? Isn't deja vu like this phone call? I'm not getting a deja vu now, but deja vu is because you've been in that situation before.
Right.
You've been with that person before. So maybe we've been in this life, like, 1,000 times, and the people that are coding everything, they know it. Like the Simpsons, Matt Groening, whatever his name is.
Sure.
He you know, it can't be a coincidence. All the stuff that what's the name of the guy Bucco that does the Simpsons stuff?
Right.
And they called the pandemic him coming down the escalator. Did you see the one today that Larry Johnson posted about the dark winter in Texas?
I didn't. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, that was another episode where the Simpsons got right. But maybe I don't know if there's a time traveler. I don't know if we've all been here before, but you figured out you're a step ahead of them. That Rush Limbaugh that died today, maybe he's died 1,000 times before. Like we've all been here. You know what I'm saying?
Sure, it's possible. There's that Jet Li movie. I think it's called One, and it's. Have you seen that movie with Jet Li?
I saw it when it came out, but I wouldn't remember.
Well, there's like all these alternate universes happening at the same time too. It's like a similar type of idea. So
it's just crazy how you crack the code. And like I have 3 kids, 14, 12, and 3, and my kids are really good athletes. And before I started listening to the Chadwick Boseman stuff, like you completely blew my mind. I don't even know how I found you. It was by chance, but I always thought these things were like just these funky ass coincidences. Like, I was in the sports world and I would see stuff happen, like the ball through Bill Buckner's legs. Do you remember that?
Of course, yeah, Boston Red Sox.
Yeah, I mean, there's just no way. Bill Buckner was one of the best fielders of all time. Even the way the ball went through his legs is fake. It's just so. I know you say the scores are scripted, but maybe it's because they knew the Lakers would win in 6 because it's happened against the Heat, because it happened 1,000 times before, and they know how the code. They've been here before, like the creator of The Simpsons. It's just there has to be more than that's what I was telling you. I don't want my kids to even go to. We're at LAUSD out here, Los Angeles Unified School District, and they're not letting the kids go back to school. And I hate what they're learning. The teachers are like, "Oh, Trump's a jerk. Republicans are losers." And either way, I don't want to hear that stuff. We got to start like a Gematria school, dude.
Sure, indeed. I mean, everything you're saying, it's possible. I mean, something bizarre is going on in this world, that's for sure. So we're trying to get to the bottom of it. When I did the Sam Tripoli interview, he kept saying, "This is proof that we live in a simulation." And then he started a new thing, his website, simulation something now. So, broken simulation or something like that. So, yeah.
But the problem is, I've got friends who are super smart, and they just like, I'll share your link, and they say, "Oh, it's so easy to manipulate numbers." They keep saying this, and these are like cool, smart people that, I usually agree with. I cannot get them on I've gotten a few on the Gematria thing, but I used to like follow Q, and then after 2 months, I'm like, Jesus, everything these people predict, nothing ever comes true. So, but with you, everything is proven. I cannot get people to. They will not come over. They will not come over.
It's just like my sister. I mean, she just there's people. She's like my sister's like most people. Just like nothing will convince them. They don't care. They just want to live in La La Land. It's just the way it is. So.
Yeah, but what I want to do, Zach, is I told you personally, like the kind of business. I don't even care to say, but the weed business where we're growing stuff out here. I want to do like some kind of when we're able to travel again, if we're able to travel, I never know, but some kind of a world tour. You have 70,000 subscribers, but trust me, there's way more people that are listening. I mean, even since the whole Chadwick Boseman thing, you probably, 40,000 subscribers since then?
Well, I mean, they keep deleting the channel. I keep having to start over. So, I mean, we've been here and then we start over. It's like we're doing it again. It's like we're starting over from zero again. I've done it so many times now. So like GematriaEffectNews finally gets up to 80,000 now, has 2 strikes and suspended. It's probably gonna get deleted again. So we'll start over again. But yeah, for the newer people, my channel has been deleted 19 times. It's about to be deleted 20 times. So yeah.
Yeah, I want to do some kind of promote like some kind of a tour. I think Rambo lives in the UK, right? It seems like.
No, he's in New York.
Get out of here! Really?
Yeah,
How the fuck does he know so much about soccer? Why does he follow so much Manchester? It's like UK crap.
Yeah, some people are into that sport, so.
Yeah, like Jonathan, you, what's him? The kid, I think he got his by the way, the kid from Australia is pretty brilliant. He got his channel suspended, I think, recently, right?
That's what happens when you do good work. But yeah, he's smart, 19 years old, so.
Yeah, but I heard, I know how impressed you were that day he came on with you. Did he just do that one show that one time?
It's pretty sad to think about, that they're suppressing the thoughts of a 19-year-old. It's like, come on, man.
Listen, if you're onto something, they will suppress you. That's it. Like if you're full of shit, they'll let you go forever. They don't care. But it's when you know something. That's why, like Zach, do you ever care? Not care. Do you ever worry about your life? I hate to put it that way, but
I don't worry about it. I mean, if there's any age I should be worried about, it's my upcoming birthday. But I'm not gonna worry about it. If it happens, it happens, and then hey, maybe it's a simulation, so I'll just be right back. But
there you go, baby. And July 20th, right? July 21st. When's your birthday?
21st, yeah.
21st, yeah. But Zach, I can't listen. First of all, I'm so impressed that I don't know how many people email you, but like, and then that day when you're like, okay, hey, dude, with the Tupac story, call in, and that guy called in, I was like, shit, that's not me.
I knew that wasn't the story, because his story, I was like, oh, didn't I just say like a guy who had like a story with Tupac, not a decode with Tupac, but okay, yeah.
But even the thing that I told you, which is 1,000, 1,000,000,000% true, like, what do you think about? It's just crazy. Like, this was the nerdiest guy that came in here. It was almost like he was like
it reminds me that he's from an upscale neighborhood and went to a private school. And I mean, it's not to say that everybody from an upscale neighborhood and private school is a nerd, but that's kind of like my sister, the neighborhood she lives in right now. And I got to go to my, nephew's graduation the other year, and I mean, it was pretty much a big nerd fest. So I mean, it makes sense to me.
I mean, the porn star that I was with, she's like hitting on him, and her tits are in his face, and he had zero interest, nothing. Like, he didn't care. Like, I don't even remember what he ordered to drink, but he was just and the guy that he was with, by the way, I forgot to tell you this part, didn't say a word. He didn't say a word the whole night, just sat next to him, didn't say a word. But when we left, we wanted to see, like, if they called anybody to see if he was there, he starts grabbing his dick and starts, like, flipping everybody off, just like getting into character. And he was not like that on the inside, but not only that, nobody on the 30 or 40 people that were there, nobody, like, ran to the table and said, like, oh my God, Tupac, can we get your autograph? It was just so weird. It was almost like he wasn't even there.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I'm glad you called in and shared that. The chat really enjoyed it. Hey, friend, you can call us back again, but I better let some more people get on because we'll run out of show here, and there's a lot of people on hold. So thanks, Joey.
Keep up the good work, dude. Zach, keep fighting for us, please.
I will. No doubt about it, man.
Buddy.
All right, appreciate it.
All right.
You have a good night.
Buddy. You got it.
All right, see. All right. Hope you appreciated Joey's story there. I thought that was very interesting. And again, I mean, it's like you got to take his word for it, but at the same time, these entertainer types, these studio gangsters, a lot of frauds out there, so... At least Tupac gave us "Dear Mama." That's keep your keep your head up. I mean, those songs got good messages. So, anyway, let's go out to from the Tupac story to the man who knew Bob Marley. How you doing this evening, friend?
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, did my book show up yet?
No. Yeah, I got it yesterday. I went up like last night.
All right. I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, I just started since night because I was doing a major job for somebody. So
sure, got it.
Everything is good. But I keep pressing, giving people the message, and I was talking to some people today, right, about this thing in Houston. So everybody was saying, I said, no, that's weather warfare. They said, what? Weather warfare? I said, yeah, that's technology.
Indeed. Indeed.
No, it's not shot. I said, no. Look what it is. You ever see Houston have the type of temperature like that?
Right.
The people ain't waking up, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
I have some friends that tell them, hey?
I'm just saying it's going to be too late when these people wake up. I mean, they can't see nothing. I mean, how's it in the single digits in Houston? That should be a clue to everybody, but still people deny it.
I mean... But I was listening earlier talking about, don't let them guys stress you out, man. People who don't want to believe that they were saying that saying.
You were saying the saying, and then you cut out.
Oh, yeah, I was saying that they say, many are called, but few are chosen.
Right, yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? So,
indeed.
There's a lot of people you never gonna wake them up. I hear you talking about your sister ain't going. I mean, she's supposed to say all the things that you predict way in advance. You know what I'm saying? And she's still not believing that. So that's how some people's mind is made up.
Right. That's right. You can't. Right there. Exactly. I mean, you can't persuade these people who've already made up their mind. That's exactly what it is.
They are fully programmed.
Indeed. Indeed. How's the weather in New York?
I'll keep on listening. So I'm going to reach out to you and get some more books, because I have some people I'll contact and I'll let a few people start listening. So what I do is I send the video them to send them on WhatsApp to them on their phone. So a lot of people start listening and start believing, you know.
I appreciate that. Thank you for spreading the word.
Yeah, every day.
Appreciate that, man. Thank you. All right, friend.
Yeah, all right. I'll talk to you.
Yeah, you have a good night, man. Appreciate you. Take care.
Yeah, you too.
All right, see you, man. All right. Now let's go out to Toronto. How are you, Toronto?
Hi, Zach. How are you?
Doing well. That sounds like Natalie. How's the weather?
Yeah, that's me.
Good to hear from you.
Oh, it's cold, like reaching minus 16, sometimes minus 20 at night.
That's
it's
Celsius.
Cold, and then we had
Celsius, right?
Celsius, yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, in Fahrenheit, people are thinking in Fahrenheit that's like super cold in Fahrenheit, but that's below freezing in Celsius. Okay.
Minus 18 Celsius would be like 0 degrees Fahrenheit.
Right.
I can tell you that.
Right. Cold.
And then we had one snowstorm, and then now tomorrow we're gonna have another.
Is that's pretty typical? That's pretty typical in Toronto, or is that colder than normal?
Colder than tomorrow.
Okay, colder than normal. Okay.
That's not really. That's not really that common.
I see.
In the snow.
I see.
I don't really. Well, the snow, yeah, for February, that comes and goes. Not this two clustered together, but the temperature, that's a little bit too cold.
It does sound very cold. Yeah, it seems like everywhere is experiencing a little bit colder than normal weather. That's been the case here, but the last 2 days it's gotten warm. So it was cold though.
Yeah, so I don't have any decodes, but I want to tell people to drive safe, because yesterday I hit black ice on my street, and I started skidding towards another driver.
Uh-oh.
And I almost, I was going to hit the driver and the car in the opposing lane, and then I turned to the right, and then I started skidding again, and I almost hit a tree in the snowbank. Then I tried to turn to the left, because I didn't want to hit the tree, try to get back on the road, and then I ended up hitting the snowbank like 1/3 a meter, just over a foot from the tree.
Well,
so the tree ended up being like a passenger side.
That's
like
scary.
Like 1/3 of a meter.
Sure.
From my passenger side, and I have like all-wheel drive. I just want people to, like, the community to drive safe. Like, I'm in bed rest with like aches and pains. So if I sound loaded, it's because I had to take painkillers.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. So you actually did get hurt from that. Okay, well, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm glad it wasn't worse. But yeah, you're right. I mean, this dangerous weather, black ice, it's a scary thing when you lose control of your vehicle. So I'm glad you're all right, Natalie, but glad it wasn't worse.
So, yeah, and this just happened like 6 houses down from me.
Oh, close to the home, too.
So, close to home.
Yeah,
so, like, be safe, everyone. Drive slow. You can hit, like, under that snow could be black ice. You don't even know. Even I have 4-wheel drive, and, like, damn, I never had something like that.
Yeah, ice doesn't matter. Yeah, ice, you lose control, so... Yeah, you be safe, and you're right, everyone else, that's a good call and message tonight, because with this, especially people who aren't used to this, I'm sure there's all sorts of crazy wrecks in Texas where they just have never experienced weather like this. I'm sure there's black ice, so yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to call and share what happened yesterday, like, just be safe and drive slow.
Great message,
Or
Natalie.
maybe don't go anywhere at all. Like, that could be one instance. Don't go anywhere at all. It'll probably be during a snowstorm.
Sure. Yeah, that's probably
Like
good
a
too.
bad one, maybe.
Stay home if you can.
Yeah, but yeah, that's all. And I do love your book, by the way. Like, you do have a great command of the English language. You don't use so many big terms like the complicated English I have to read for school. And they say I have a PhD, so I can like have an excuse for putting so many terms that you have to Google.
Sure.
Even if you're ESL.
Sure. Well, part of the reason is I appreciate that you appreciate that about my writing. I don't have the largest vocabulary, but I always hate when people try to be too wordy and use these fancy words. It's like, okay, you're just trying to be fancy now. I write to be understood, so that's my goal when I write.
Yeah.
So.
And it's easily, your book is easily like understood, and yeah, your book is just easily understood, grammatically correct, and that's all I have to say. I really do enjoy it. It's a nice break from all my. It's a nice break from all my textbooks. Anyways, have a good night.
All right, appreciate it, Natalie.
Have a good night, and a shout out to the Gematria community. You guys are awesome.
Indeed. All right, you get better, friend. You have a good night. Okay, we got about 30 seconds till the break, just because that's not enough time for the next caller. Next caller will be Michigan, then Texas, then Florida, then Illinois, then Florida, then Cleveland, then Denver, then Lexington, then Mississippi, then Minnesota, then Colorado, then Maryland, then California, then Arizona, then Ontario, then Arizona, then North Carolina, then Philly, then Florida. We're probably not going to get that far, but again, since there's so many people on hold, you guys, if you can just be real efficient with your calls when we come back from the break, we should be able to get in about 15 people, maybe 20, if we keep it to a minute apiece. One great thought, one great question. And again, that's why when people call in and keep going on and on and on, you're eating up the opportunity for everybody else who's waiting. So we'll be right back, you guys. Quick commercial break, then the final 30 minutes. And there's the music.
Extendivite, a 7-herb combination made from garlic, cayenne, hawthorn, bilberry, ginkgo biloba, valerian, and milk thistle. Extendivite feeds our body with the right nutrients to keep us healthy. Just listen to what Arthur has to say.
I was just calling to tell you what a great product you have. I had used this about 10 years ago after I had congestive heart failure. And it fixed me up and got me going for the last 10 years. Lately, I've been having heart trouble again, so I placed another order because this was the only thing that ever worked. And I just wanted to let you know that you have a great product.
To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendivite.
Your home has needs. It needs a healthy, dry environment all year round. Start by getting rid of the worst air in the basement and crawl space, where the problems begin and make the whole house sick. Introducing the new Smart Wave Ventilation Unit. It has advanced technologies to continuously reduce moisture, mold, and odors, and expel radon, gases, and pollutants. And now, Wave units include carbon monoxide detection to automatically expel air at a high rate and send you an alert. It also has an app so you can remotely monitor the conditions. Wave is a comprehensive, maintenance-free, affordable solution that will transform your entire home. Protect your home and family with what it needs. Give it a new Smart Wave Ventilation Unit. For more information, call 888-717-WAVE. That's 888-717-WAVE. Or go to dryhealthyhome.com. That's dryhealthyhome.com.
Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
Dowsing is the ancient science of finding water and metal underground. Albert Einstein said that dowsing was tapping into earth energies which modern science as yet does not understand. Diamonds, silver, gold, and platinum objects have all been found using dowsing. And now, for the first time on film, we visit the pyramids, Stonehenge, and ancient sites, dowsing for buried treasure and tapping into this mysterious earth energy.
The Enigma Channel. Intelligent television for planet Earth. EnigmaTV.com.
Real people, real radio. Wherever you are, make it TFR. Truth Frequency Radio.
All right, we're back, Truth Seeker, and we're going out to Michigan. How you doing, Michigan? Oh, I think Michigan's just listening. We'll keep moving here. Let's go out to Illinois. What's going on in Illinois?
Illinois?
That's you?
No way. Hold on. What's up, Zach?
Hey, what's up, man?
Not much. I was just talking to my brother, trying to talk to him about like how you got this weather prediction on point. But basically, I mean, Brent, I really had no decodes. It was just basically a talk for appreciation. Just yeah, man. Thanks for the information. Thanks for being on point. Rago's information was like, I don't know. It's like if people can't deny this and they want more facts, like Rambo's the guy to go to, and you know, it's this stuff is undeniable that they're controlling it. And then the first caller, how he was explaining how the technology works, it just made so much sense, even though you could barely understand what he was really saying, you know.
Sure, yeah, he's got good information, so yeah. I appreciate the support, man, and thanks for spreading the word. And you said your brother's there. How's your brother feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, he's you know, like little by little with the sports, I show him with the money that I made. I was a guy that made like $1,000 off of like $100 bet from the Super Bowl. So nice. I mean, and I don't even watch football, so like that should say a lot, right? I mean, the fact that. So like, you know, and then just the other day I was on UFC 258, and I picked a parlay, and I picked out of 5 fights, and I got 4 out of 5 fights right. And I, like I said, I don't even watch UFC.
Close.
So that was interesting too.
Yeah. Well, keep up the good work, man.
I mean, you know, your work is Your work is undeniable. I appreciate your work, man.
Yeah.
So take care of yourself.
Yeah, you too, man. And you keep up the good work. You're gonna wake some people up. You have a good night. All right, let's go out to Florida. Florida, what's up?
Hello?
Hello. Yeah, it's you.
What's going on, Zach?
Another day in paradise. How are you, man?
Pretty good, man. I just want to say I love your work, brother. I've been obsessed with Gematria since I discovered you. I have one great idea. If we could somehow gather the money to get like an AI program to run all the ciphers on like every news.
Sure.
Every news story, and like it would be able to pretty much predict the future, you know? 'Cause
sure.
it could go over more in 10 minutes than we could go over in a month.
Indeed. That is what we need. That is what we need. And again, there was a gentleman working on something like that for us. And I mean, it's a real story. And he supposedly committed suicide. And I always wonder, he didn't seem like a suicidal person to me. That's the one danger. If somebody tries to develop something like that, they might be targeted. But we really do need something like that. So, yeah, I appreciate that thought, man, and the support. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
All right, man. You have a good night. Let's go out to Cleveland. What's up, Cleveland?
Yo, Zach, can you hear me?
I hear you. Yeah, hey, I know who this is. I haven't heard from you in a minute, man. How you doing?
I've been all right, man. I stay in contact with you on Patreon, man. I've been laying in the background, but I see your Patreon page is blowing up, man. Especially after the Super Bowl, man. It's like you jumped up over 1,000 subscribers, man. But real quick, man, I just want to talk about a couple things I heard over the night so far. Rambo said that the Pope displayed some bones that was from St. Peter on November 24th. I believe the reason why they did it on November 24th is because if you go to the 11th moon and the 24th day on the 13-moon calendar, the 11th moon and the 24th day is 5/25, May 25th, and that's the 145th day of the year. Catholic equals 145. So I'm assuming that's probably why they did that on that day. Another thing, real quick, I heard over the commercial break, one of the commercials, they were saying how there was some group who was protesting the inauguration day, and back in, I guess, before 1937, the presidential inauguration day used to be on March 4th instead of January 20th.
Right.
Well, if you search for March 4th on the 13-moon calendar, you will find that it falls on the 8th moon and the 26th day. 8/26. As of the 8th moon and the 26th day, there's 5 moons and 2 days left on the calendar. Kind of like the gematria of the word president. President equals 52. So I'm assuming that's probably why they used to do the presidential inauguration on March 4th. Couple more things real quick. Super Bowl. You mentioned how you knew that the Tampa Bay could possibly be in the Super Bowl because of that game that happened. I believe it was a hockey game. And
Baseball.
17-8?
Baseball game. It was the Rays into the Red Sox,
Baseball
August
game.
13th, 17-8, 178 days before the Super Bowl, yeah.
Now, that was August 13th, right?
Right.
Now, if you look at that day as a 13-moon calendar day, the 8th moon and the 13th day, the 8th moon and the 13th day leaves 5 moons and 15 days left in the calendar. Kind of like how the Tampa Bay Buccaneers became 15-5 on the season by winning the Super Bowl.
True.
And one more thing about that 15-5. Patrick Mahomes, his full name sounds to 333, correct?
It does, yep.
The 333rd day of the year is 11/29, November 29th.
Russell Wilson's birthday.
If you search for November... That's whose birthday?
Russell Wilson. That's part of the reason he was at the game. They connected. Russell Wilson and Patrick Mahomes are mirroring each other so far in what they've done in their Super Bowl careers. But that's Russell Wilson's birthday, and he was at Super Bowl 55. They kept showing him, and he didn't look like he was too happy to be there. But go ahead.
What was interesting about that is 11/29, if you search for November 29th on a 13-moon calendar, it falls on the 5th moon, and it's the 15th day of the 5th moon. Kind of like how the Tampa Bay Buccaneers became 15-5 on the season by winning the Super Bowl. That's pretty much all I got for the night, huh?
Very interesting. Yeah, great observations always. Every time you call in, I'm like, why am I not doing the 13-moon calendar thing? It's just because I'm just already like so much. But I got to start doing this because there's definitely something there. So appreciate it as always, friend. Thank you.
Thank you, Zach. Let me say this when I sign off. I should have said this a long time ago, but maybe next time when I call in, you can do it in real time. But every single English spelling word has the 13-moon calendar encoded in it. And I guess when I call in next time, we can do an example of that in real time. But thanks for picking up my call, man. You enjoy the rest of your night.
You too. Looking forward to that. Thanks, man. Let's go out to Denver. What's up, Denver?
Hey, Zach, how you doing, brother?
Doing well, man.
Yeah, it's funny you had Trump Tower go down today, and my friend, he lives down South Jersey, so his great delight today, or was it yesterday, He went down and he's in a parking car garage in Atlantic City, and he's looking for the view in his video and it shows the tower go down. And it's funny, I saw that in the beginning. So, yeah, so all the way from Jersey, where our other friend is, so that was his great delight. So that was very interesting. He said, well, wake up. He said the tower went down. I was like, yeah, and there's a lot more to wake up than that, brother, you know?
Sure.
And with Rambo, yeah, go ahead. Do you guys want to say it?
No, I was just agreeing with what you're saying. Go ahead.
Okay, and then going back to Rambo, I like how he goes back, and many times when I called in, all you got to do is, it does go back to Babylon, and then it goes back to Abraham when he was in Ur, and then it goes back to Genesis 11 to Nimrod. You know, he wants a system without laws or without God. And they want to build a Tower of Babel, and that's all the language. So everyone babbles all over the place, right? All these different languages. But you got a big secret as you crack the code, obviously, which is really what they don't want. But it is true, like frequencies goes out with this, and it goes all the way back to Genesis. And obviously it's been working, so they're just going to follow the playbook. But the whole thing is, too, it says Babylon will fall. But obviously, I like it goes, Babylon is in Iraq, physical Babylon, where it started. But obviously, if you go to the United States, this is the spiritual whore Babylon. I mean, this nation whores himself out to other nations, doesn't care as long as he gets paid. Any religion, any race, it doesn't matter. And it goes back to the Rome and the Greeks, the same exact thing. To be a Roman citizen, they give you a black, white, color, religion, they can care less. But they did have their gods, obviously, that have been passed down, you know, since Babylon. The Egyptians called him Ra, the sun god. You know, obviously Jupiter with Rome, you know, and Greece. So, you know, that's what care. They care more like being like a god in the afterlife than they like living life right here now on Earth. So that's their main focus, too. Yeah. But there's a spiritual realm that's the highest realm. That's, you know, it's 3 layers thick on this. And, you know, that's what we got to really expose it. But I think I called you, was it last week? And remember I said, what's your exit plan? And you said, well, I don't know, what's yours? And remember I said, well, mine, I just follow the Torah. You know, every principle, every key to the kingdom, I get revelation later, God takes care of me. That's just me, you know, to each his own. But, you know, somehow I know I'm going to a promised land or an Abrahamic covenant land where all the nations, you know, is going to be, houses go down in destruction. But obviously, you look at the United States, if you read Jeremiah 50, to make the arrows hot, you go to Isaiah, it says the lady will have her leg or thigh uncovered, the Statue of Liberty. All the symbolism is there about what happens to the United States. Right. So this one last great empire will fall, and then obviously, to what I believe, the last greatest empire will be the kingdom of heaven, kingdom of God that will rule and reign on earth. So, but that's a lot in there, brother. But that's what I have to throw out there what Rambo said. But yeah, you are doing the right thing. You're exposing the hell out of the Babylon system, but the roots of this thing is way back Genesis 11. So you're dealing with a big monster. It's called a red dragon beast system. Obviously, we're in. So I guess, you know, you got to call and keep doing what you're doing. You're doing it well. And, you know, it seems like you love what you're doing. But obviously, like I said, I think you should have an exit plan eventually. I believe there will be 2 windows, 2 doors that will open like a Noah's Ark. You can determine where you're going to go on this earth. And that's probably going to be your end game, where you're going to finally stay. But hopefully you'll be at the right place at the right time, at the right place on earth. I think that's the end game. And what they call aliens, I just think it's Luciferian, fallen angels, they call it, or the realm of death. One part of God's government that fell, that's been on this earth since a long time.
Sure.
That's why you see all these sick people. I think you say, well, you ready to go after these murderers, these pedophiles, you know, and basically you think you have to physically kill them, right? That seems like the only answer to put the end of this whole damn thing. But these, you know, these lunatics, insanity, it ain't going to stop.
Yeah.
That's why you got to be careful how long you stare in this abyss. You don't want to become part of it yourself, you know what I mean?
Indeed.
So,
Indeed.
you know, it's like, that's why I mean,
friend, I appreciate it. I appreciate all the thoughts. I appreciate all the thoughts. I appreciate everything you say. I just know if I keep talking the whole show, and again, I said if we can keep it to a minute because there's a lot of people on hold. So, all right.
I'll go.
All right. Thanks, man.
You
have a good night. I appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
All right. Take care. Let's go out to Mississippi. What's up?
Zach, can you hear?
I hear you. Yeah. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I had a reference from the show Lucifer, and it's talking about the 42 months. I think they're speaking in code about the 42 months of the Gentiles. Mm-hmm. And the Satan, well, the guy that plays Lucifer, Tom Ellis,
He's 42 years old, and his birthday is November 17th, and born 1978, just like the guy was saying. And Lil Uzi Vert album, the deluxe, came out November 17, 2017, I think. And that show came out the month of Aquarius also. And it's a prophecy. He found the love of his life, Chloe, on that show. She's a Sagittarius. And if you've seen that commercial, 2020, the matchmaker, Satan, Lucifer meets his match is 2020, the year.
Right.
And the person that plays Lucifer is the dude that plays Deadpool, I think Reynolds. And he's a Scorpio also.
Huh.
And he's a Scorpio, and the girl who plays the woman 2020, she's a Sagittarius, just like the girl in the Lucifer show. So if something to do with that, then think about Joe Biden. He's a Scorpio born 1942, and then the tarot card for Lucifer, Tom Ellis, November 17, is the star. So he's perfect for the role. He's handsome like the devil. He's 42. He moved in. The commercial was made in the month of Scorpio 2020, but it goes like this 11 months ago. So right when the year 2020 starts. So it was just the perfect year for fucking hey, I'm sorry for cussing. Hey, edit it out. It was the perfect year for everything. Indeed. And everybody ritual lined up. Look at Rip Hamilton, The Mask. He's born 1978. Rey Mysterio, born 1974. Mysterious, The Mask. Think about Cannabis. He's born 1974. 46 years old. Sagittarius. Joe Biden got the shot. He's born November 20th. His tarot card is Judgment. And Kamala Harris, born October 20th. Her tarot card is Judgment. NBA Youngboy, same birthday. Tarot card Judgment. Libra. She's a Libra. It's a Judgment. Balance system. 2020 Judgment. The 20 tarot card Judgment. They're telling you something about. They're telling you we're in Judgment right now. The Great Tribulation. Yeah. 225. Yeah. DJ screwed up. 225. We're screwed. They're telling you. Think about it. Look at the slogan, Kamala Harris. Do not give your pearls. What did Jesus say? Do not give your pearls to the swine. You're giving your pearls, and you gave us the Converse, the Morning Star on the shoes, the Converse. You converted. You converted to the devil.
Interesting. Yeah, those are great observations. And just at the beginning, the point you're making about 42, the beast rules for 42 months in Revelation. So, yeah, I see all the connections, man.
Yeah, 2 months.
Yeah.
40. Yeah, he has 42 months. You're right, Zach.
Yeah.
And it's and they tell me with the year of the dog, O.J. Simpson, 1994, The Chase. Beware the pale white horse. Look at Joe Biden. It's all about the symbolism. They're the stars. Do not worship the stars. It's all about the symbolism. Look at Joe Biden when he got the shot. In Sagittarius, the month of Sagittarius, the bow. Cannabis was in the group, the Four Horsemen. He was one of the horsemen. I don't know which one he was. He might be deaf. But Joe Biden was wearing a Ralph Lauren shirt with the pale white horse.
Huh. I got to go back and look that up. Friend, I really appreciate all these observations. They're great. I got to let some more people get in, though. I got to let some more people get in, though, because we're almost out of the show. But really great thoughts, man. Keep it up.
Yeah, okay. I'll let y'all go. Y'all take care. Hey, Zach, it's your birthday, man. Hey, it's a very special birthday. It's a cusp of oscillation. So it's the moon and the sun, and they worship both. That's why you got great intuition.
Yeah, I do have an interesting birthday. Appreciate that too, man. That's the day the Jesuits were banned in history too, July 21st.
All right, and Dak Prescott too, July 29th, oscillation, NASA.
Yeah.
He played for the Dallas Cowboys. They worship the stars. Goodbye.
Yeah, all right, man. You have a good night. Great call. I know you guys. It's hard to keep it to a minute. There's so much information. What's up, Minnesota?
Hey, Zach, what's up?
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm good.
So I actually called you like back in like I don't know 2 years ago, and that was back when I didn't read. I was kind of still new to the whole Gematria thing, but since then, you know, I've like wised up and I've realized that this is actually all legit, and since then, you know, I've noticed a lot of things. Like so I was actually watching one of your videos after the Super Bowl, and you said something that really caught my attention. So I remember you saying something like you for some reason when you're like broadcasting like you're whenever you're talking about like sports, especially like big championship games, your internet will start like slowing down and you can't, and you know, like you can't really upload or you can't really stream as well as normal. And then you said that, you know, for some reason they don't really like when you do that, right?
So it seems. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I know exactly the reason why they don't like you doing that. It's because, so I thought about it, you know, like with all this, you know, stuff that you decode, you know, like things going on in the media, things going on in the news, things going on in government and politics, and then, you know, sports. Okay, out of all those things you decode, what's the what's the one that seems like the least likely to be, you know, scripted because there's like so many variables happening at once. It's sports, all right? Like it's professional sports. So, you know, the fact that you're basically calling in real time like a live sporting event happening and people and you're basically telling the future right there and then, that's gonna like raise a lot of red flags to people if like, you know, the masses kind of saw that you were like, you know, calling these games in the future and you know, like because like I mean think about it, like sports, there's so much shit happening. Sorry for cutting. There's so many things happening on the field, like so many things going on, like lots of variables. And the fact that if you can predict that like right there and then, that would look suspicious to a lot of people. So the Jesuits or whatever, these entities, they don't like it because I've kind of realized that sports is kind of like their Achilles heel in all of this. Like that's the main weakness. So what I was thinking is that in order for us to like really blow the lid on this whole Gematria thing, we really have to, you know, focus more on sports because that's where all the money is. That's where all the attention's at, and that will get like, I mean, yeah, you know, exposing, you know, politics and stuff. That will get people's attention too, or like celebrity deaths. But sports though, like that's gonna
Well,
like,
you're right.
really get people.
Listen, what you're saying I know is right because the majority of people who've come to this community have come through the sports work and then they've learned to pay attention to other things too. But yeah, the sports is a big deal, and I've always been punished historically when we nail the futures, and that's why I realized I needed to separate the sports and news channel because it's funny that they don't take down the sports channel, but it's like they punish the news channel when the sports thing happened again. But yeah, what you're saying is true. So I appreciate the call and observation, man. And that's why I want you guys to help do it too and put out the work and do the same thing I am. And more people are doing that, and we're getting further and further. So keep it up, friend. Appreciate the call.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go out to Colorado. Again, we got to keep it moving, you guys. The show's almost over. What's up, Colorado? Colorado? Hello? All right, maybe just listening there, Colorado. A little try out Maryland. What's up, Maryland?
Hey, Zach.
Yeah, how you doing?
Hey, all right, so I've been meaning to tell you this. Remember when you got bear sprayed?
I do.
Bear spray equals 138, and so does your name, Zach. Zach Hubbard equals 138. I've been meaning to say that.
That's interesting.
But
I didn't
back to
realize
the
that.
weather control.
That's wild.
Yeah, organic. I love it. It was funny. But the weather control, basically when you see them spraying in the air, them chemtrails, all they're doing is releasing nanoparticles that once they bind together, they either heat up or cool off, like the guy said with the Tesla tower in Texas. They have the tower over there, so they could do that over there. But 9 times out of 10, when you go stand outside, just pay attention to how those chemtrails form, and then pay attention to the weather the next day. That's how you see firsthand that they're controlling the weather. When I was in the military, they did this. They did this. They've always been doing this. They admitted it from Vietnam. They showed us this in the Truman Show. They showed us in the Hunger Games where they was controlling the weather in the little dome, And in the Truman Show, when they didn't want him to get in the boat, they raised the water.
Right.
They have this technology, and they had it from a long time ago with sound manipulation. That's how they caused a lot of the mud floods that took out a lot of cultures. Most people don't even know that there's a whole city under New York that was buried under mud. And this happened around the world. So something happened here that caused all this water to be displaced. If you look at Egypt and listen to all the old stories about it, Egypt used to be tropical, but now it's just covered in sand. I mean, it's so much stuff that they've taught us wrong. They've also taught us that everything started in Africa, but then why is the Tower of Babel in Quebec, Canada? Why is Canada sound just like Canaan? And we all know that Babylon was in the land of Canaan, which is Canada. They changed the names. You got to study etymology to learn where these words truly came from, to learn what we're saying now. They've changed the vibration on us, and we haven't even comprehended. They have educated us so wrong, man.
Well, they definitely have taught us a lot of false information, got us all confused, and who knows what's true. That's interesting what you just said about Canada and Canaan. I hadn't heard that one before. I'm going to have to look into that. So I appreciate the thoughts, man. Thank you very much.
If you pull up Google Earth and go to zoom out, it'll look like a smiley face on the map, and it's over in Quebec. And zoom in, and it's called Mount Babel. It's a nature reserve now.
Okay, Mount Babel.
They have been hiding stuff in plain sight.
I'm going to look that up. Friend, I'm going to let one more person get in because we're almost out of show, but thank you so much for the call and thoughts, man. You have a good night.
You too.
Take care. All right. California, you're going to be the last caller tonight. How are you? Well, unless they don't want to talk, then we're going to go out to Arizona. All right, Arizona, you're the last caller tonight. How are you, Arizona?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. We got about 20 seconds left before the music starts, so take us out.
All right. So, Childish Gambino released an album March last year, which 322 is a weird number. The album name is 3/15/20, like the date, which equals 38 and 11 if you add those numbers up. There's only 2 songs on the album with actual names for the names of the title with actual letters. The rest are all numbers, the songs. And the only names are Algorithm with a Y.
It's the music. I can't stop it. I'm sorry. I'm going to look it up, though. I appreciate that observation. We'll be back next week, everybody. Have a good night. All right. That's the end of the TFR show, and I have no control over the commercials or music. And it's too bad she didn't have a little bit more time, but I will look into that album. And again, anything on 322, that's just 322. That's one of their big numbers. Tim Russert asked all about it on Meet the Press with Bush and Kerry in the 2004 election, and he ended up dying shortly after, and they reported that he died at 2:23, 322 in reverse. So anyway, guys, I'm going to get some sleep tonight because I didn't sleep well last night for whatever reason. And I was up late, and I was up early, and I did a late-night live stream. If you guys missed the live stream, hey, before I go, I want to say that real quick. Before I go, if you missed last night's live stream, I really liked the gentleman who did the interview, and I want you guys to check out his channel, if you would, The Anarchist. If you missed this interview last night, a lot of people left a positive response, and a lot of people thought, this was a great video to show somebody who's new. A lot of people left a comment like that. But this gentleman right here, he recently got his channel deleted too, and I like what he's doing. So if you guys want to support him, again, he's trying to build back up his channel, which is a very frustrating thing to do. If you guys have ever gotten your channel deleted before, YouTube makes it so hard to get your subscribers back. Just watch when they delete GematriaEffectNews. It's at 80,000 subscribers right now, but just watch how long it takes for me to get back to 5,000 subscribers. How long it'll take to get 10,000. And they might start doing to me what they did in the past, where they don't even let me have a channel for a 2 weeks. They'll just delete the channel again. But let's for all the people in here, man, this guy did a great interview last night. I like his energy and his message. Come support this man. Let's get his subscribers up over 1,000 again. So he can get that confidence to build his channel back up. And if you didn't watch the live stream we did last night, definitely check it out. I think you'll like this interview. So. A lot of, look at that, only 10 dislikes. Normally I got 50, so That should tell you something right there. But, and then the other thing, you guys, free to find truth. Again, if you're new here, free to find truth, totally free to use. Free social media for truth seekers. Again, you can be as anonymous as you want on here, but I do encourage people, even if you don't want to put your real name out here, you know, at least put your real city or location. And the reason why is because people can search on here and see who's in their community. And that was my main purpose when I built this website. Well, I didn't build it. I paid somebody to build it, and he maintains the website and all the hosting and all that. But again, the purpose of the website was to get people to find out who's in their community so they can organize and network. And I just know there's so many people that just feel lonely truth-seeking because their friends and their family disown them, and then they feel like they're on an island. So I was hoping, like, with this website, people would be able to say, like, oh, okay, I'm not the only person in this city that cares about the truth. And, you know, maybe just start a relationship online. Somebody set up a group on here for online truth seeker dating. You know, I don't think it's taken off yet, but that's because there's not enough people on the website. And, again, free2findtruth.com. When you come to the website here, let me log out. When you come to the website, it looks like this. You know, just create an account. It should send you an email. You just click, yes, this is my email, and then boom, you should have your login and password. Just remember what your login and password is. And you're part of the community. And the only rule is don't troll. You know, there's probably been 10 people deleted to date. It's because they signed up as trolls and we're only there to troll. And again, you can talk about anything. Even though I'm not into flat earth, you're welcome to come there. There's a flat earth community. You can discuss whatever with the flat earthers. Again, anything that's seeking answers related is welcome on this website, you know. And again, if you disagree with somebody, just agree to disagree. It's like I'm not into the flat earth thing, so I'm not into the flat earth thing. I don't even care about it. You know what I mean? But for the people on there that want to share flat earth stuff, here's a spot where you can share it online and you don't have to worry about being censored. And again, because the one thing I do appreciate about flat earthers is they're questioning things and asking questions. But I think they need to ask a few more questions and do a little bit more research. But anyway, that's that. And also, again, I'd encourage you guys to listen to this album. Listen to this album. It's free on YouTube. You just got to put up with the commercials. But Public Enemy, What You Gonna Do When the Grid Goes Down? I'm going to keep listening to it over and over. Every time I listen to it, I pick up on something else. Bryson just did a decode on his channel. Oh, by the way, where's Bryson at? Bryson... I spelled his name wrong. Bryson Bell. This man... Hey, how did I get unsubscribed? They're already unsubscribing people from Bryson's channel. He must be doing something right. But Bryson, you know, he's a young person in our community. He's already doing some decoding, and he's making great observations. So come support young Bryson. And, you know. Also, if you go to my channel, you can see all the channels that I'm subscribed to and the other Gematria channels out here. So support these other people. And, again, you guys also be prepared. You know, warm blankets, water on hand. You know, things you might need if they turn out the power on you. You know, and this could go on. This could start really going on a lot. You know, in the summer they can have all sorts of windstorms and fires and knock out the power. I think this is going to become a trend, you guys. I don't think what just happened is going to be an isolated thing. I think they're really going to be pounding a message home in our heads that Mother Nature's out of control and we need to do some radical changes. But those of us who are awake realize this isn't Mother Nature. These are agendas, but still we have to be prepared because the consequences can be real. So if you can afford a generator, okay. If that's too much, you can probably afford a propane stove, like a Coleman propane stove, and some small propane tanks. I mean, that's probably like $100 investment tops, and that $100 investment could make all the difference. You know, canned food, things that you don't have to cook, those are the kind of things you guys need to have on hand. Water, you know, food that doesn't require, you know, cooking. Just you can open the can and eat. So... you know, I think these are important things to have at this day and age in light of what's going on. And, again, you guys be safe out there. Like Natalie said, you know, if you have colder weather than you're used to, drive slower. You don't want to hit some black ice. That is deadly. For all you people in the South who've never experienced that, hitting a patch of ice, it's not fun. You have no control over your vehicle. And, yeah, I'm sure that's happening to all sorts of people because of the bizarre weather, so... Again, you know, be tough, true seeker, like they say. When, how's that? I always forget how that phrase goes. When the times get tough, the tough get going, something like that. So those are the times it is. All right, you guys have a good rest of your night. For those of you in the other part of the world, have a good rest of your day. And until next time.